Okay. Hello, hello. Drop your questions in the chat. We're going to get started shortly. How's everyone doing? I hope you're well. We're going to be talking about how to attract men who invest in you. If you're not accustomed to men investing in you, you're in the right spot. I'm going to teach you very, very simple ways to start attracting these type of men because it's a lot easier than you would like to think. How's everybody doing? Drop your questions in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm on a little bit earlier today than I normally am, so I just wanted to check out, see who's hanging out. But if you are, hi Plush Vixen, how are you? And I saw your little gentle reminder last night. Let me add you as a moderator. So when you're moderating, just the people who are just being like absolute trolls, just get rid of them. The men who are just being men, like adding some sort of value, it could be positive or negative, leave them until they start becoming like aggressively trolly. You know how that, I don't know what that guy was saying the other night, but, or what was it, yesterday? All right, let me do this. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on, how do I do this again? How are you doing today? Let me do this. To make you a mod. Okay, here we go. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for offering to help out in that way too. I appreciate you. I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Okay, so you are officially a mod in here. So I have you, I'm going to have Laura, and then I also have, I don't know if you've met her yet, but her name's Seraphine. She's a Blueprint Babe. You're not a Blueprint Babe just yet, correct? I think you hang out with us, which is cool. I love that you're hanging out with us. I appreciate it. I just want to make sure. I think I've asked you this question before, but we have so many Blueprint Babes now that like I'm doing my best to try to remember. It gets so confusing though, because you'll have your screen name, you have your real names, and then if you're in my community, the lab, you have it's too many names. Anyways, I hope you're doing well. Thank you again for offering to mod. All right, so what should we yap about today? How's everybody doing? If you're new here, please follow. We are going to talk about how to attract a man who invests in you. So let me tell you about the TikTok that I posted today because, you know, it's always a day that when pick-me-shas will piss me off first thing in the morning, okay? First thing in the morning, if I see a pick-me-sha video, girl, you already put me in a fucking mood. And I'm going to make a TikTok on you, okay? I'm going to make a TikTok on your ass. So that's what I did with this woman, okay? That's what I did with this woman today. Because she's local to where I live. I'm in the Tampa Bay area. Allegedly, she's a radio host on top of it. And I just really can't determine what her stick is. From what I'm gathering, she's a pick-me-sha in front of men, but she'll come on the internet and bitch about not getting queen treatment from men, but she's setting it up that way, right? So when her TikTok came on, she's like, is it Tampa or, and then she's bitching about like how many first dates that she's been on in the Tampa Bay area. And mind you, I live in the area, okay? I'm in Tampa Bay, I date in Tampa Bay. So if I'm teaching you how to get queen treatment because I'm getting it in the city that this woman lives in, it's not the city's issue. And that's what she was kind of like alluding to, right? She's like, is this a Tampa issue or what? And the issue is her pick-me-sha behavior. And the pick-me-sha behavior was very clear to see. She's bitching about how all the dates, her first dates, she's had to pay for, okay? Except one. All of her dates in Tampa, first dates, she's paid for all of them. And then I'm reading the comments because like that just doesn't make any sense to me because I live here, right? Look in the comments and guess what? Pick-me-sha offered to pay for first dates. So of course these men are going to take her up on the offer. Who wouldn't, right? Hello? So now she's on the internet bitching and complaining about why don't men pay on first dates? Well, girl, you're offering to pay for yourself. Of course, a man's going to be like, well, yeah, if you're offering, sure, pay for your half. Now you're a pick-me-sha in his eyes because you're trying to, what she had said in her comment, be courteous, right? That's not being courteous to a man when you're on a date. When you're offering to pay on a date, that's very pick-me-sha behavior. Instead of being in your feminine energy and receiving that payment, right? Paying for that date. You're receiving that date offer, not just the experience that he's providing, but he's a provider, right? That's what providers do. So if you're offering to pay on first dates, you're not going to get queen treatment. What's happening in that moment as soon as you open your dumbass mouth saying, oh, I'll pay, right? You're not being courteous. You're not being cute. You're literally communicating to this man, well, my standards were up here, but now that I've offered to pay, my standards are down here. Now you've communicated to him, your standards are low. You don't even expect to be wined and dined, right? You've literally, because I teach you how to turn on a man's masculine switch. So he's on and working and providing, no problem. But when you say, I'll pay, you literally turn his switch off. You put him in conserve energy mode. And guess what? You're going to be a favorite to him. Why? You're cheap and you're easy. You're cheap and easy. And this woman goes on into her TikTok and has a nerve. Oh, I can hear the men in my comments saying, oh, well, he must not like you if he's not willing to pay. And then her dumbass says, no, because they're willing to take me out on a second date. And I was like, well, no shit, Sherlock. You're fucking pick-me-sha. You're easy. You're easy and cheap. Of course. Thank you so much, Lovey. You're easy and cheap. Of course he's going to want to take you on a second date. Of course he's going to want to take you on a second date. He gets access to you because men want access. If you're attracting men, investment means queen treatment date one. If he's not willing to pay for the date that he's like asking you out on, right? Asking you out on, time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie is what men are wanting from you. Okay? So when they're wanting this from you, you understand that they need to invest something into this because these are finite resources you will never get back. You will never get this back. So anytime you're going out on a first date with a man, you are literally giving him these resources for free. Time, attention, validation, physical presence, and if you choose, all the way up to the cookie. Okay, I'm not going to yuck your yum. We're all in different seasons in our dating life. You do as you choose. However, what I'm teaching you is to at least get queen treatment before you give him all of it. Okay, because if your standard is up here, guess what? Date one is a movie preview to date two, date three, 6 months, 10 years down the road. So if you're setting it up where he's offering to take you out on a date, you know that it's a date, and then you open your mouth and say, I want to be courteous. Let me just offer to pay for myself. And then you come and bitch on the internet like, why aren't men paying for my dates? Well, you set it up that way. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And that is like pick-me-sha final boss because she's a pick-me-sha in front of a man and then she's coming in front of women trying to gain sympathy from them. Ick, gross, don't be that way, okay? Ick, gross, don't be that way. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing, humiliating. And guess what? She's doing it to herself, okay? She even started her TikTok saying, dating in Tampa is a humiliation ritual. No, baby. Nope. You are creating the humiliation ritual for yourself. Okay? Because when you're dating, your behavior matters. His behavior obviously matters. And that's why I teach you in my system, one, to attract men who invest. So this girl attracted these men. They probably thought that they were going to pay, but then all of a sudden she offers and all of that like masculine energy, gone. Poof, gone. Your standards are now in hell, okay? And you've literally just communicated that to a man by offering to pay, okay? So you got to pick and choose. You are going to be either a woman who's going to get queen treatment or you're going to be a pick-me-sha. You cannot be both. You can't be both. And the reason you can't be both is the behaviors of the women are complete opposite. You're either pick Misha, offering to pay, offering all this stuff, or you're going to sit back and receive like a queen because that is expected. Okay. And then why is it an expectation on date one? Because you're already coming with your resources that you'll never get back. Time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. So my system, first and foremost, right? Hi, Moby, how are you? Hi, so what should we say when the bill arrives, or look courteous but allowing them to pay? Yeah, you don't say anything. Nothing. You just let him go Gators. You just let him pay. Think about it like when your parents would pay for you, right? I'm doing well. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're doing well too, Moby. Think about when your parents pay. Do you pretend? No. When you're a kid, you didn't pretend to pay. You just let it happen, right? That's what you do with the man. You just let it happen, okay? You let it happen because that is what's naturally going to occur. You're going to observe his behavior, and if he starts getting weird and saying, oh, well, do you want to pay X, Y, and Z? Then he's already giving you data. Hi, Laura. How are you? Now that you're in here, let me add you as a mod as well. Just as a reminder, as a mod, Plush Vixen's in here too. I don't know if she's still in here, but I made her a mod just a moment ago. The only people that we want to block or mute are trolls, actual trolls. The men who may come in here, you know how, you've been here for a while. So you'll see how men come in here and arguing for their limitations, stuff like that. Leave those type of men in. It's the trolls that are talking about looks, all the, troll behavior that we want to eliminate. And then if the men that are arguing for their limitations become trolly, then we want to block and mute. I just don't want us blocking and muting every man that comes in here because they add value, whether it's negative or positive, because as we can see, they what's the best? I'm trying to do two things at once. They are giving us content. They're giving us examples of how to pick these men out. Okay, so that. Okay, I think I did that right. Hold on. Oh, yes. Oops, there we go. All right, cool. Alrighty, ready. Even negative engagement is engagement, though. Exactly. Hi, ZZ. How are you? Yes, you're here. Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right, awesome. Okay, so when it comes to attracting these men, it's easier than you think, right? Even if you are in pick Misha mode, which you're going to learn how to get out of pick Misha mode if that is your issue, no problem when you become a blueprint babe. First and foremost, though, attracting men is going to be the easiest thing that you can do as a woman. The issue that most women have is they're talking to one man at a time, dating one man at a time, and they're not putting themselves out in the world, whether it be on the dating apps or literally just, out in the wild, showcasing, hey, I'm available. Having that open body language that signals to men that you're single and ready to mingle. Most women don't have that. And also because of I'm going to blame feminism, and feminists really fucked up the game for women, okay? Really fucked up the game for women, okay? And feminists fucked it up for women. Why? Well, because they're raging bitches and they come off very aggressive out in the world, and that scares men. So now a lot of men are kind of weary to approach women out in the wild. Why? Because you're going to bite their head off 9 times out of 10. Okay. And it makes sense. Women should have their guard up when a random ass man is coming up to them. But because feminism and all that kind of shit has fucked up the game out in the wild, it's easier to play the game out on the internet. Okay. You're women out in the wild that are on the internet right now. Men are doing the same thing. Okay. So when you understand marketing, position yourself in the market to gain visibility so men know that you're single and you are ready to mingle. I don't think it's feminism. It's women who are patriarchal that carry it on. I think it's both. It's both because both ends of the spectrum become very toxic. Okay. It's just the feminism are raging man haters and the patriarchy women are very traditional. So, and still, wanting to overgive all this other stuff, right? Internalized misogyny. Yeah, of course. It's all of those things. But even feminists have internalized misogyny, okay? So understanding all of this, because people are not one thing or another, like we're multidimensional. And because we live in a patriarchal society, even though you're a feminist, we're still living in that level of society. So you still have some sort of indoctrination, and those programs and patterns play out if you're not aware of them. So a lot of feminists, though, they're very aggressive out in the wild. They get, upset when a man even just looks at them. And we can't necessarily be upset when men look at us because people have eyes. Women are looking at you too. So when you're out in the wild and you're not getting approached, two things can be happening. One, men are scared. Most men are very intimidated of beautiful women. And two, your body language may not be very open. So I teach a lot about body language and communicating on the internet and out in the wild in my community, The Lab. Okay? The Lab. So, no, feminism is not hating men. It's doubting the system, man, not the individual, though. But yes, we're all socialized in patriarchal systems. Yes. And feminism, though, like I studied different waves of feminism in college. There's literally different waves. So right now, I think like the wave of feminism we're probably in is like 5 or 6. I don't even know, because back in college, I was studying like 3 and 4, like the earlier stages. So it's mutated so much, right? It's definitely mutated. Feminism and in that aspect. So interesting enough how that has mutated, but patriarchy has stayed pretty consistent. I find that very interesting. But when I'm talking about that just in general, it's just mindset, right? A lot of mindset. So a lot of feminists, right? Mutated or evolved. I would say what it currently is, it has mutated. It has not evolved. It actually has devolved. It's mutated, okay? I don't see feminism in its current form as evolved at all. Because in addition to that, like feminists, and they believe that men and women are equal. We're not equals. We have certain things in compatibility that are equal, but men and women are not equal. And that's what feminism stands for, is equality. And the thing is that based on hormones and genetics, men and women aren't equal. And why I say it's mutated, I'm very much against like men and women's sports. And that's part of that feminism that has mutated. I don't see that as evolving. I see that as mutation. And that's my personal, stance on it based on my education, my studies, and what I'm seeing play out in the world. Okay. What I'm seeing play out in the world. It's about equal rights not necessarily being the same. Some, right? Again, feminism, and I don't talk about this a lot, so we're not going to go into this deeply. Feminism has different waves, okay? It's different waves of feminism. So let me actually Google what wave of femininity not even femininity, feminism, that we're in. Feminism. Okay, so there are different waves. When we're talking about feminism as in equal rights, that's like wave 1, okay? Okay, so there's 4 distinct waves currently addressing different social, legal, and cultural goals for gender equality, okay? Gender equality, that's what Google says. So it's no longer about equal rights. What feminism is today is mutated under gender equality, okay? That's mutation, that's not evolution. Okay, so that's that when it comes to that. However, when you're in that mindset, it's very repellent to a lot of people, okay? A lot of people, men and women included. Why? Because you are, how do you say this? When you're in an activism state, it's very aggressive, it's very upfront, and it's very headstrong. Nothing wrong with that. However, men and women don't find that very attractive when someone is just very in your face, very aggressive, very X, Y, and Z. Both feminism and obviously patriarchy can do the same thing. However, when it comes to those aspects, when you are trying to turn on a man's masculine switch so you get queen treatment, feminism, like women who are feminists aren't looking for queen treatment. They're looking for equality, right? They don't want to be wined and dined. They're not looking for that. If they are looking for that, then they're very confused. They're very confused because how do you want to be both? How can you be both and project that clearly to the world, right? And again, depending on what you are studying when it comes to feminism, because different waves, and we're in a completely different wave than equal rights, okay? Okay, but what if you want someone who joins you in activism and feels attracted to it? Then you would vet for that type of person, right? You would vet for that type of person. I personally would not be interested in that type of dynamic, but that's why dating is a market, right? Dating is a market. So of course, feminists are in relationship, but they're dating particular type of men, and they're vetting for those particular type of men. So again, you can find that, but feminists are probably not going to be blueprint babes. Why? Most of them aren't looking for queen treatment. They're just not. Shira says provider because of patriarchy even. Like they credit the system, then they should live up to it and provide it. Exactly, right. And because that is the society that we live in a patriarchy, men should be stepping up and providing because that's how men are created, providers and protectors. So feminists aren't necessarily vetting for providers and protectors. They're just vetting for the type of men that they're into. Okay. What I teach you as a blueprint babe, you are looking for the stereotypical masculine man, a provider and a protector, because those are real men. Because if you're a feminist, right, you are very much in your masculine energy. There's no way you can be in your feminine energy and be a feminist. There's just not. Okay. It like you said, for me, well, for you, it's not a contradiction, but it is. It's the complete opposite. So sometimes, like for you, you can distinguish it, but at the same time, it is a contradiction though. It can be both and, but the issue that you're going to run into long term is like, which is it? Which is it and in what moment? That's where you're going to run into contradictions in the relationship. Because if you're setting it up one way, but then you're a feminist, you're going to be back and forth, push, pull, and then the guy's just not going to understand exactly what you're looking for. And that just gets messy for both parties. Okay. So when you become a blueprint babe, the first thing is attracting these men. Okay. And that's the easiest thing that a woman can do, especially if you know how to market yourself. Positioning yourself in the market to become visible. So the easiest way I teach you, especially in this market, it's a numbers game. You need to get your numbers up because you're not going to be talking to one man at a time or dating one man at a time. You are going to be vetting men. And the easiest way to get your numbers up is with the right pictures and the right words on dating profiles, because those men are you already know they are looking to date. And they know that you are looking for the same thing. So once you start swiping and matching with men, you're going to start attracting all types of men, okay? All types of men. The reason you want to start attracting all types of men is so you can start vetting for gems. Because the way that you're going to start attracting all these men, you're not going to be able to distinguish what man is masculine and what man is a loser until he starts showing you who he is. But longer the days that you are getting to know men on dating apps. I literally teach you how to vet men. You're asking specific questions that are going to tell you, is this man a provider and a protector? Because if he's not a provider or a protector, you're wasting your time. Because if he's not a provider or a protector, his masculine switch is off. He's in conserve energy. And if his masculine switch is off, your masculine switch is on, which means you are the boyfriend and he gets to sit back and be the queen, the girlfriend, the wife, the princess. And a lot of men, like going back to the whole patriarchal, traditional, right? The opposite end of the feminist is the traditional woman who is there to serve a man. So she literally is turning off his masculine switch at home where she's doing all the serving, cooking, cleaning, all the things for him. Okay. I'm accustomed to relationships. Any long-term relationship that I have been in, The man is a provider, but he's also a protector, meaning he does all the cooking. He does all the cleaning. He does it all. He does it all. Okay? So opposite ends of the spectrum. Okay? Opposite ends, but opposite ends still, they're getting the same results. Interestingly enough. Thank you so much, Caitlin. They're getting the same results. Did you notice? Even a feminist and a traditional woman are what? They're in their masculine energy. They're in their masculine. Why? They're doing and doing and doing for the man, which means his switch is off and he's sitting back and receiving from these women. That's not natural. What's natural is a woman sitting back and receiving and a man stepping up and doing. But funny, now that we're talking about it, and again, I don't talk about patriarchy or feminists, right? We don't talk about that around here. But since we just touched on it, now that I'm looking at it, they're both in their masculine energy. And if they're both in their masculine energy, they're dating women, right? You might as well just go get a girlfriend because that's what you're going to get in the form of a man. You're so honest. True. Thank you so much. I keep it super real over here. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, right? But it's the truth. And the more you start kind of looking at it, you're like, oh, fuck. And again, I don't talk about that kind of stuff. But now that we're talking about it and I'm looking at it the way we're talking about it, it's like, oh, shit, right? They're in their masculine energy. They're both women, opposite ends of the spectrum, traditional women, right? Under the patriarchy. Thank you so much. Feminists under the patriarchy, guess what? In their masculine energy, doing instead of sitting back and receiving. Because the most feminine thing you can do as a woman is sit back and receive. Okay? Sit back and receive. But part of that receiving occasionally you have to ask for it. You have to ask because closed mouths don't get fed. But there's a very particular way in how you ask these things. Okay. Love the ugly truth. Yeah, sometimes it can be really ugly, hard pills to swallow. So how do we turn men to just invest? That's perfect. Great question. I think it's more expecting than doing. Part of it, right? But also expecting, right? Men need targets. Men can't read our minds. I don't know how many men have told you that, but many men that I have dated in the past have told me, I can't read your mind. What do you want, right? So you can expect things, but if you're not communicating it, you can expect all you want and then you get frustrated. Like the woman that I made a TikTok on, right? She's frustrated that every date that she's been on in Tampa Bay, she's had to pay for. But she literally is doing it to herself. Why? Because she's offering to pay. You can't come on the internet and bitch and complain that a man is not paying for your first date when you're a dum-dum offering to pay. What are you doing? You can't have it both ways. You got to choose. You're either going to be a pick-me-sha in her masculine energy, paying for herself, or you're going to be a queen. And like Laura said, expecting it, but part of expecting it is communicating your standards. But if you don't even know where to start with all of this, you don't even know how to attract these men. The easiest way to attract these men is to get on the dating apps. My system, I teach you right words and the right pictures to put on. Phase 1 of the blueprint, the right pictures, the right words, you're going to start attracting these men. Okay. Phase 2 of the system, I teach you how to turn on their masculine switch. So they start investing. I teach you how to vet for men who are going to give you queen treatment date 1, make life easier and keep your nervous system regulated, meaning they're not doing things intentionally to stress you out or put you in harm's way or any of that kind of thing. Hi, Veronica, how are you? Thank you so much. How's it going? So when you understand that that is the name of the game, 1, attracting these men, 2, vetting for quality men, and then 3, the most important part of my system is staying detached and observing their investment signals in you over time. So when you are detached, you see the full picture, okay? You see the full picture. You see the man for who he is. When you are attached to a man, you are attached to one little quality, one little characteristic. You're so in love with him. Oh my God, he's so fucking amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm so in love. I'm going to marry this man. But then when you actually detach from him and you see him for who he is, his investment is 50%. That's a 50%, babe. And how many women marry into 50-50? How many women have to deal with that half and half roommate bullshit? A lot of women. But they're choosing that. And they're signing up for, okay, he's only going to invest 50%. I'm literally going to have to make up the rest. And you get to pick and choose the type of men that you allow into your life. And especially when you become a blueprint babe, and if you are ready for my system, tap the banner below. It's a one-time purchase. Today, you have a discount code. I'm giving you $30 off. So it's a one-time purchase today for $127 with the discount code BB30, capital B's, okay? BB30, $127, one-time purchase, or you can join my community. You get the system, but you also get to text me at any time over on Discord, okay? So I'm there to respond to your texts. You can drop your screenshots. I give you the guidance. We also have group coaching every week, every Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So Wednesday tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be doing group coaching. So in that community as well, I create extra content that is that supports your journey as a blueprint babe. It's from all different types of creators that continue to formulate this mindset for you. So today, what I put into the community was how to stay mysterious. How to stay mysterious. Okay, so let me go back in the chat. Okay. Okay. It's refusing to do unpaid labor, but expecting him to provide and protect. Indeed. Yep. Exactly. We don't entertain men for free. Absolutely not. It's hard to find these type of men. I've tried other dating apps. They only want one thing. Okay, Sagittarius, that's a very, very natural thing to observe, right? So all men want one thing, right? They want access to you as a woman. They want your time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. But when you're saying they only want one thing, you specifically are talking about the cookie, right? Because that's what they're after pretty quick. However, you get to vet those men. Also, keeping in mind, all men want the cookie. They're here to reproduce. So physiology and psychology, that's what they're here to do. So they're always going to want that. However, when you know that as a woman, if a man is talking to you, looking at you, he's interested in your assets. Time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. But you as a woman, okay, think of dating, that literally is supply and demand. If a man wants you, that is a demand on you, okay? So if you are in demand, you get to set the price. You get to set your standard. So if your standard, like my standard, is queen treatment date 1, men pick me up, they open my door, they're gentlemen. I vet for gentlemen, okay? They pick me up, they open my doors everywhere, car doors, wherever we're going. I don't ever have to touch a door handle, whether I'm getting into a car or out, right? In or out, they're taking care of it. They also buy me flowers, okay? These are flowers from my date last Thursday, okay? And then of course they pay for whatever we're doing. Are all men going to give you that treatment? No, but that's why I'm teaching you it's a numbers game. And when you're on the dating apps, men are going to tell on themselves pretty quickly. And then you get to vet. Is this man going to invest on me date 1? Is this man going to make my life easier? Is this man going to dysregulate my nervous system in any way? Because even before you meet these men, have you met a man before you've met and he's already stressing you out? That's not going to be a match. So why would you ever give him more access to you? Because when you're on the dating apps, they only have 3 out of the 5 things, right? Time, attention, validation. Once you give them access in real life, they have time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. Okay? So if you are ready to become a blueprint babe, tap the banner below. It is a one-time purchase of $127 with the discount code, or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You get the system, but you also get to text me at any time. Anytime you need guidance, anytime you need anything, I'm there to support you. You also get weekly group coaching. We had group coaching last night. We're having group coaching again today, 8 p.m. And then you get extra content to binge. And we're over on Discord, so it's a chat. You literally, from the dawn of time, you get to go back and see everything, how the content that I've created, but also how I've guided other women. Okay, so what you're looking for is to be someone's dependent, might as well be placed on his taxes. I don't hear, so again, why do I teach women to be on the dating apps? Because men are going to tell on themselves without you even having to talk to them, right? Like Black Gator flat out told on himself. He flat out said, I'm not a provider, I'm not a protector, and if I'm going to be a provider and a protector for a woman, she might as well be on my taxes as a dependent. That's a loser. That type of man would be just vetted out really quickly, and you would never even have to give him access to your phone number because that man is a loser. Okay, loser. But like I said, get on the dating apps and these men are going to tell on themselves like this. And then you don't even have to worry about meeting them in public ever, right? They just get to see you on a dating app and that's it. As long as we bleed and bear children, there's no 50-50 anyway. Yeah, exactly. And even if you're not birthing children, like for me, if a man comes into my life that is even like capable and has the qualifications of being a husband and a father in my standard, I don't even know if I'd want to have kids. But regardless, even if I'm not having kids, I'd still expect that. Because they can't be shared, they need to make up for it. It's up to us when exactly. So when we're going to see you with these men, so when are we going to see you with these men on the roster? So now, okay, Black Gator has already determined he's a loser and doesn't qualify, right? But now he wants me to prove myself to him. Why would I ever prove myself to a loser? Okay? This is how men trick you, ladies. This is how men trick you. They expect you to perform for them when literally they need to be doing that for you. And the men that see the opposite, you vet them out of your life. Because as a woman, we take deep accountability and say, guess what? We're allowing these men access to us, okay? And you know, I love it when men come into the chat and tell on themselves. It's great content. You're such a great example. Thank you for being the loser that you are and just showing up without me even asking. Good job. You at least did a good job doing something today, right? There's videos with flowers she received from them. Yep. So I have videos of flowers. I don't show their faces, right? Because privacy, okay? But you can binge my content, but fuck my results, right? Fuck my results. The results that actually matter to me are my Blueprint Babes results, okay? So if we want to go down that path, let's have fun with that, right? So my entire TikTok are receipts. You can just binge my TikTok. That's what it's for. If you're not following yet, please follow because I do put out content on a daily basis. I try to be on live on a daily basis, but sometimes I just don't make it. Sometimes I need some time to reflect, right? So where are the testimonials of your system working? All right, Black Gator, calm the fuck down. I'm getting there, okay? Getting there. Sweet, dates, I like that. Exactly. It's up to us to give up the cookie or not. Yep. Oh, I love the fuck. Now he's saying good luck. Okay, now he's out. That's great. He didn't even want to wait for the testimonials because he got scared. Okay, he got scared of the results that are coming up. And while he's at it, add me as an irrevocable beneficiary, yep, to that life insurance policy, as he should, right? Especially once you're in those like long-term committed relationships. Absolutely, that's like a given, right? Yes, it's not about having children for real. That's just in case it would be our body's not there. And even still, with us having sexual relations with a man, we're already putting our body at risk. Not just for pregnancy, but whatever they're coming with, if they're stepping out on us, like sexual health is very important. Okay. So even if we're not birthing children, just the risk of being pregnant, that's putting our health and our life at risk just to sleep with a man. Okay. So if we're already putting ourselves at risk just to sleep with a man, why isn't he stepping up and providing and protecting? Okay. Because most of these men are little boys in big grown up men bodies. They're not men, they're boys. They don't have the skills to even provide and protect for themselves. So if they can't even provide and protect for themselves, how can you as a woman expect that from him? Because people, whatever they're capable of doing for themselves, then they're capable of doing it for you. If they're not capable of doing it for themselves, it's just not going to happen. But that's why I teach you phase 3 of my system is the most important phase. Staying detached and observing their investment and behavior over time. Because that's going to tell you if this man is worth it or not. So let me tell you, I know I'm a little bit behind in the chat. I'll be back in that in a second. But my ex-boyfriend I attracted with my system. Phase 1 of my system is the only thing that existed at the time. I put the right pictures and the right words, and I attracted my ex-boyfriend. I knew that I was looking for an investor. We were together over the last cuffing season, August to the end of February, okay? Very expensive time of year. My birthday's in January as well. I turned 40 in January. He was 31 at the time. In that 6 months, he paid for everything. I never paid for anything. I never drove anywhere. And in addition to that, he invested $5,000 cash and bills paid, okay? Cash and bills paid. But however, phase 3 is the most important phase. I was with him for 6 months. I loved him, but I stayed detached and observed. So phase 2 and 3 of the blueprint came out of what I learned in that relationship, which is, yeah, he can be a provider, but if he's not making my life easier, what is he doing? Making it harder. And if he is not keeping my nervous system regulated, what is he doing? Dysregulating it. And how is he doing that? By stressing you out, by doing scary things, all sorts of stuff to dysregulate you. It puts you in fight, flight, or fawn. So if a man is not making life easier, he's making it harder. And if he's stressing you out and putting you out in scary situations, he's not a protector. Okay. So that's what I learned about my ex-boyfriend. He was somewhat of a provider and he was relatively new to it. Okay. But he wasn't a protector. Okay. And I had to work to keep his masculine switch on. Why? Because his baseline wasn't on. Okay. So I had to fight to keep that fucker on. Not worth it. It's not worth it. So that relationship lasted 6 months. But most people, men and women, would continue down that path and just hope and pray that it gets better. And it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay? Just be well kept and we'll assume you're already well off and spend accordingly. Thank you, Billy, right? Because that matters, right? If you're looking for queen treatment and you're not carrying yourself as a queen and you're not doing that kind of stuff, men aren't going to naturally give that to you because they can sense that that's not normal for you. Okay? Actions do the talking. Absolutely. This lady is a scammer and will keep you single. Listen, I would rather women stay single than get into a relationship with a loser ass man. But women can choose that, right? They can choose that for themselves. That's a word. Say it again. I don't know what I said. I'm sorry. My brain works so much faster than the words that come out of my mouth. So I'm already, I don't even know. I'm glad you like the example. I don't know exactly what I said, but drop it in the chat. Okay. In many cases, that's not even a blessing. He comes to loser men. Yep. Okay. So big head, right? So again, men telling on themselves. Big head is flat out saying he's a loser. He's not a provider or a protector. Because if a man thinks that paying for a date is prostitution, first and foremost, he's already assuming he's going to get laid. 9 times out of 10, he's probably not. So why would prostitution even come into this conversation? Because we're not even talking about sex here. We're talking about going out on dates. But that's a loser for you. These men are going to tell on themselves, and then you get to pick and choose, are you going to date a loser or not? Okay? I wouldn't recommend it. Why the word invest? Don't You benefit from investment while you're implying lack of reciprocity. I'm already talking about reciprocity. Why? Because Billy, when you ask a woman out on a date, you want her resources. You want her finite resources, okay? It only costs you money to take her out. And guess what? Money is not a finite resource. You can go out and make more. But when you take a woman out on a date, her resources, and remind you, you want to take her out on a date, you want access to her, which means in an economy, she's in demand. She gets to set her standard, her price, and what she's expecting out on a date, okay? And price being investment. Investment meaning the money that he has to spend on the date, okay? So what you're getting from a woman when you take her out is her time, her attention, her validation, her physical presence, all the way up to the cookie if she offers, okay? That's what you're getting in return for providing a nice date and paying for it. Because as a man, you are the provider putting down the card, okay? There's no lack of reciprocity because as a woman, we don't reciprocate with the same resources, okay? If you want our finite resources, time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie, these are things we'll never get back from you, okay? So if I know that I'm never going to get these back and my standards are queen treatment, date one, you pick me up, you open my door because you're a gentleman. Those are the only men that I date. You buy me flowers, okay? And of course you pay for whatever experience that we're going on, okay? That's standard. And I think as a man, you would see that as a standard as well. But in the modern dating economy, because it's all sorts of fucked up, I'm just stating the obvious, okay? There is reciprocity, but women are not going to take reciprocity. We're not bartering, okay? You can't want my time, attention, validation, physical presence all the way up to the cookie and think that you're going to trade the same thing. I don't want that from you. I'm going to naturally get that from you because what? You want that from me. See how that makes sense? Most men will want to get the most from you with little to no investment. Exactly. And to call it prostitution when you have a standard. Exactly. These men will tell on themselves, okay? And this is why I teach you in my system to get on the apps. Because when you're on the apps, you just read their words. There's no tone, there's no sugarcoating, there's no charm, there's no charisma, there's no manipulation. You're literally reading words like in a book, and then you get to determine, am I going to continue to deal with this man and give him access, or am I going to vet him out? This is where I'm at. Awesome. It's been 7 years, can't find anyone. If you can't find anyone, I'm telling you, your issue is very, very solvable, okay? Phase 1 of my system, the blueprint, and if you're ready to become a blueprint babe, this is gonna solve your problems. Phase 1, if you can't find anyone, you have a marketing issue. Marketing and visibility, okay? You're not putting the right pictures up or the right words up in your dating profiles because you need to be on the dating apps. In addition to that, right, when you're showing up in the world, how are you showing up? Okay, but out in the world, a lot of men aren't approaching as often, so it's easier to do it on the dating apps, okay? So once you're on the dating apps with the right pictures, the right words, you're gonna start attracting all different types of men. Loser men, rich men, fat men, skinny men, bald men, men with gorgeous locks, all types of men, okay? But the men that you are going to vet for are the men that are going to invest on date one. They're gonna provide a quality date. First date. They're going to make life easier and they're not going to do anything to dysregulate your nervous system. That's phase 2 of the blueprint. Phase 3, though, is the most important phase, staying detached and observing investment and behavior over time. Because that's going to determine if this man is worth it or not. Because at the beginning of a relationship, 9 times out of 10, it's called the honeymoon phase because both people are on their best behavior. That's why investment and behavior over time is what's going to matter. And no one can rush time, okay? No one can rush time. So if you're ready to become a Blueprint Babe, tap the Service Plus button, or you can tap my icon, exit the live. The link is at the top of my bio. It is a one-time purchase of $127 with the discount code, okay? Normally it's $157. Why? I'm updating the blueprint. I've had the blueprint out for like 3-4 months. The women that are in my community who have applied the blueprint are getting phenomenal results. And right now I'm just refining it. Okay, I'm just refining it even more and more, specifically as well to also help women who are already in relationship. Because if we're talking about men and getting clean treatment for men, whether you're in a relationship or not, where is it? You're still dealing with a man. You're still dealing with a man. How to attract a man who invests in you, invest in yourself, emotional, as a man will support the rest. Yes, but that's fluffy talk, okay? That's fluffy talk, Brandon, right? Because you're not giving any guidance, right? It's just fluff. It's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Invest in myself emotionally and a man will support the rest. How do I find that man? Where do I attract him? What do I have to do? That doesn't help. Okay, worthless. You're literally providing sex as what you bring to the table. He brings money. No, obviously, big head, you're a fucking loser, right? Loser. Because again, if you think that you're getting sex on a first date, most women aren't going to give that to you. So you're clowning yourself. And if he brings money on the first date and you're not getting sex, it's not prostitution. But you're a loser and you're going to assume that, okay? But this is why men tell on themselves. Hi, I have a first virtual date. How to ask him to send me dinner. Become a blueprint babe and I give you that. Exactly how to do that. I don't like coffee dates. Yeah, I would never recommend coffee dates. Low effort dates are coffee, drinks, apps, a walk, ice cream, gym. All low effort. That is not investment, okay? The only thing that would be an investment is if this man takes you to a really nice fancy gym and says, let me pay for your membership. Then you can go on a date, like a first date at a gym because he's investing, okay? It's horrible out here. It's actually not that bad, right? It's not bad. But everything out in the world, like you got to vet for what you're looking for. Okay. But if you don't have a system, yeah, it's fucking hell out there. Right. But when you're a blueprint babe, you don't have that problem. You just don't. Okay. Often screams low effort, right? Discernment. Exactly. Mind you, men, prostitution exists because men have a demand. If they didn't agree, wouldn't be there. Aren't you just so smart stating the obvious? You know, Laura, today you're stating such the obvious that even I'm not seeing the obvious. Because clearly, why does prostitution exist? Because there's a demand on the cookie. There's a demand on the cookie. And Big Head is very, very obviously knows how prostitution works because that's probably how and the only way he gets cookie is by paying for it. Okay, because he's not man enough to invest in a quality date because he doesn't know how to behave. Okay, let the prostitutes deal with those losers. That's what they get paid for. You, on the other hand, are a queen and you don't have to deal with losers. Okay. If they're not investing, I'm not interested. Exactly. As you should not be interested if they're not investing. Exactly. Okay, cool. All right. The guys in here seem hooked though because they stay and comment so much. They all are, right? And as I've said before, men want access, time, attention, validation, physical presence. And if that loser had a woman's time, attention, validation, physical presence elsewhere, that's where he'd be. But he's a loser in here because this is where he's getting it, okay? And not necessarily in a great way. And here's a very, very good lesson about men. Men want access, whether it's positive or negative. And clearly, Big Head is here because he's still getting access and it's negative. The only reason that I'm allowing him to stay here is because he's been a very good example of what to vet out of your life. Okay? What to vet out of your life. What dating apps do you recommend? That's such a great question. So I recommend the ones that have been here for eternity, okay? Because that's where most people are already on them. But I also recommend, if you're new to the apps, get on at least 2 to 3 and test what platform you prefer. So phase 1 of my system, I teach you the right pictures, the right words to put in your profile. So it doesn't matter what dating app you're on, you're going to get results. However, if you're new, like I said, if this is a numbers game, there's going to be different people on different apps and then the same people on all of them. You get to pick and choose and vet specifically, because phase 2, I teach you how to vet for the men who are going to invest, make your life easier, keep your nervous system regulated. Because if you're on that dating apps, most women are wasting their time getting to know men. You're not doing that anymore. You're vetting. You're vetting for men to see if they qualify to access you, access to your phone number, and then access to a first date. Okay, so if you're ready for my system, if you're ready to become a Blueprint Babe, tap the banner below and choose your adventure. It is a one-time purchase today, $127 with the discount code BB30. You get $30 off, or you can join my community. You get the full system, but you also get me anytime you want. You want to text me, you need guidance, you drop it in the Discord chat, and then I'm there to respond to you and everyone else that is in my community. Thank you so much. I love flowers. So in the community, it is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You get the system, you get group coaching weekly, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So tonight we have group coaching, 8 p.m. One of my Blueprint babes, she's been with me, I think it's already a month now. Her first week, she found me on a Tuesday before group coaching, right? Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we have group coaching. So she found me, she joined group coaching. She dropped one question in the chat. I gave her guidance. And by Thursday, she had already made up her money for the first month. Why? A man had sent her money to get her nails done. Okay. So that's one babe. I have another babe. Let me pull these testimonials up so we can start yapping about them. And if you do become a Blueprint Babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. My response, lol, yes, I'm single and allowed to look around. Have fun too, sunshine. Yep. I invest if she keeps it hairy below. Interesting. Okay. A lot of men clearly don't have any standards. Their standards are in hell, because if she invests just to keep it hairy, girl, you don't have to do too much to get an investment, do you? Okay. Men are easy. But if you don't know how to vet for these men, okay, there it is. There it is. Okay. What if my men give me princess treatment, but just make enough? How to vet for financial stability. I teach you that in my system. I teach you that, especially for you. You would probably benefit more in my community, the lab, because it sounds like you're going to have very specific questions and very need specific guidance. Okay. So vetting, I teach all of that in my, in the blueprint, so you can apply it on your own. But if you want that extra guidance, I would join the lab. Join the lab. Okay, meanwhile, okay, wow. Let me see. Is this a pick Misha? Oh, soft life. Thank you. So we have losers in the chat, and we also have pick Mishas, because if she's gonna be a nasty little bitch, right? That's a pick Misha. If a woman has to tear down another woman how she looks because she's jealous and she's not getting the results that I'm getting, that says more about her than it says about me, okay? It says more about her than it says about me. Because she came into my life being a nasty little pick Misha bitch, right? But we'll keep you around because we like losers in here, okay? You guys, right? You guys are great content, right? Why does my face look tired? Why are you a nasty bitch? How about you answer that first, okay? How about you answer that first? Because that's what actually matters. My face may look a little tired, but at least I'm not a nasty bitch, okay? So, oh, hi, I haven't seen you in a while. Should you have chosen the term blueprint baddies instead of blueprint babes? No. Why would I have said baddies? Baddies are a particular genre of people that don't resonate with me. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a quote unquote baddie, because that's a particular, culture, and it just doesn't fit what we're doing here. We're babes over here. We're not baddies. Baddies, I think of like Bad Girls Club and just like, it's just not tactful. Okay. 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 Oh my gosh, I'm going to, baddies doesn't resonate with my target audience. So we have another pick Misha, right? This woman is jealous of me. I'm pretty sure because it's an education thing. She thinks she's smarter than me. Aren't you the one that says that you have a PhD? I love the pick Mishas in the chat, right? So jealous. You're super jealous because you continue to come back in this chat, babe. Clearly, something is resonating with you here because I keep finding you back in my chat. But again, I love it when pick Mishas show up because it shows us a different variety of women that normally don't come in here. They come in here, right? Because they're low effort, they have nothing better to do, and they think it's fun to bash women who have higher standards than them, okay? Let them be loser pick Mishas because, again, content, baby, content. Okay, hi, Christina, how are you? We have a blueprint babe in the house. Okay, I keep commenting, so TikTok keeps showing me your feed. It's entertaining. That's how an algorithm works, dum-dum. You keep commenting, you keep showing up, you're going to continue to see my content, okay? And I'm glad it's entertaining because so are you. It's so fun to have pick Mishas in the house, okay? I made a video on a pick Misha earlier. You'd probably find that entertaining and see yourself in that woman, okay? But God clearly has trying to get you on a better path, and that's why I continue to show up, okay? That's why I continue to show up. Okay. Betty's definitely does mean hot girl, but it's overused. Again, yeah, it's an overused term, but it's an overused term in a different particular like culture and demographic. Hot girl, like I'll use hot girl, like hot girl reentry fee, but we're babes over here, okay? We're just babes over here. Good for you. Love your vibe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We need more women like you to teach. Thank you so much, Simply. That's why I'm here. Tired facing all in front of these loser ass pick Mishas. Because guess what? I'm not scared of just showing up who I am. Okay. I used to be a professional makeup artist for 10 years. I know what it's like to have to put on makeup on. Like I can live in a bare face, moisturized. Okay. If people don't like it, they can leave. Okay. They can leave, but they're here for a reason because they're fucking losers. Losers getting a kick out of bashing another woman. That's fine. They're going to get their lick back soon anyways. No worries. Okay. Be careful clapping back because they will ban you, restrict you for bullying the trolls. Not really. I don't think so. I'm not concerned about that. Okay. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. How do you get my current man up reinvesting? Okay, so that's a great question. So my blueprint, right? I'm actually updating it to Blueprint O, not updating it, refining it, okay? Refining it because women who are getting into relationship or have found me in a moment of not being in a relationship, invested into themselves and now applying the system, I'm updating the blueprint to help women who are already in relationship get these results, okay? Because what happens in relationship is his masculine switch gets turned off. He doesn't have to work as hard because he has you, okay? He doesn't have to work as hard to earn you because you're the girlfriend, you're the wife already. So the way to get him to reinvest is to turn on his masculine switch. Okay. All right. I'm done with this dumb bitch today. Goodbye. All right. There's that. Gosh, I'm just not in the mood for pick Mishas today. Just not in the mood. Pick Mishas, the worst. I was bashing feminists. Pick Mishas are actually fucking it all up for the women. Okay. Fucking it all up for the women. Okay. IDK, why they're all obsessed with changing your brand. They can make baddie brand if they want to. Yeah, that woman is just fucking weird. I just blocked her. Okay, she's been in my chat. I haven't seen her in a while, but she'll come in here like that for a minute. And it's like, it's pure jealousy, right? Like, why do you think that you should be telling me what I should be doing and naming things and this and that? Because you're a loser that's jealous. That's why. Because you think that you have pull and changing things. They don't, okay? Weird. Fucking weird, okay? But that's why you end up blocking people, okay? I just blocked her. I'm just tired of it. I'm not fucking dealing with that shit. Exactly. It's easier to criticize someone else. Exactly, right? And the thing is that, like, it takes a lot of effort to show up online like this, right? A lot of people don't realize it, but that's why a lot of people don't show up on live, because they're scared of visibility. They're scared of people bashing them. They're scared of all of the shit that you see me dealing with. But instead of being scared of it, I'm still going to continue to show up. Why? Because the information that I'm sharing with you is super valuable. Super valuable. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, I, again, used to be a professional makeup artist. I know what it's like to literally be so scared to not wear makeup, because that was my programming back then, okay? So it's taken me a long time to even get to this level of comfortability. But that's internal work. And that's where other women are going to target you, because most women have that as an insecurity. And that's not an insecurity for me anymore, because I've worked on myself and I can show up in the world this way. And guess what? I show up this way and I pull men like crazy. I pull men more at the age of 40, wearing less makeup, hair pulled back, and still get queen treatment, okay? You don't have to be all dolled up if that's not who you are. Because feminine energy is not necessarily being all pretty, dolled up, hair done, makeup. That's being girly. That's showing an aspect of femininity. But being feminine is sitting back and receiving. That's femininity. Being able to communicate what your standards are. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate you all too. Okay, so what questions do we have? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. All right. So true, right? So true. Okay, so with the Pygmishas out of the way, let's actually show you the results of the Blueprint Babes, because these are the results that actually matter. Fuck my results. This is what our Blueprint Babes are saying. So Jen, it took her 10 days. She says, first try, first success, the blueprint already paid for itself. And the way that it paid for itself is a man sent her money. Thank you so much, Christina. Sent her money to get her hair done. And this woman has very long, beautiful, thick hair. So it very expensive. Okay. It more than paid for itself. Meg started on her own and then joined my community, the lab. She says it paid for itself 2 times over in 4 days for me. Second date, he bought me flowers again and a Starbucks drink, literally all because of you. You changed my life. So with Meg, her first date with her babe, let me tell you about Meg. All right. Love you too, Christina. Thank you so much. So Meg, again, she started on her own. Before she applied the blueprint, she was on the dating apps, but all she was attracting were trolls. She said, I can't even find hot men. There are all these trolls. She applies my system, puts the right pictures, the right words, and like magic, her numbers increase, and now she's attracting hot men. Her first date with a hot man, he picks her up. He buys her flowers. He takes her to the hair salon to go get her hair done, and then wines and dines her. Okay. So the blueprint has already paid for itself over and over again in 2 dates. And remind you, you're going to be getting this experience not just from one man, but multiple men. Okay. Once you have this system and you're getting results from one man, you literally are going to start getting it from all of them, because that becomes your standard. Are all men going to want to give you that standard? No, but then you get to pick and choose. Are you going to still give him access then or not? And that's up to you. Okay. Thank you so much, Christina. I love flowers. And that's up to you. Because if he's super hot and you just want to fuck him, well, then have fun, girl. I'm not going to yuck your yum. But don't expect too much out of him either. Okay. Don't expect too much out of him either. Know what his job is. And then keep it moving, finding who you actually is going to invest in you, okay? Because the most men who are just going to want to sleep with you, they're not going to invest too much. But the men who like you, who have the money, and also want to sleep with you, they're going to invest more. They're going to invest more, okay? So what other questions do we have? If you're ready to become a Blueprint Babe, tap the banner below. It is a one-time purchase, going solo route, $127 with the discount code. I'm giving you $30 off, okay? Or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You get the system, but you also get to text me at any time. Anytime you need guidance, anytime you need a script, what do I say to him in this situation? I'm there to support you. You also get weekly group coaching that is happening tonight at 8 p.m. You also get extra content to binge. Okay, so that is $57. It is a 6-month commitment. It's literally $1.90 a day. $1.90 a day. So if you do become a Blueprint Babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. And until then, let me show you some more testimonials. So Alexis says, the blueprint works. I started today and I'm blown away. I followed the scripts and they immediately wanted to help me with removing furniture, cleaning. Blueprint works. So happy I found you. I've tried others and this actually works. Seraphine, she says, even with my ex, I used the time, attention, validation from the blueprint, and now he wants to paint my living room for me, and I don't even want him. The blueprint isn't fluff. It's practical and detailed, my opinion. We have another babe. She likes to stay anonymous. So she says, her system prevents a long and wasteful talking stage. Meg also added in, it's worth it just to end anxiety of dating. You changed my life. And you can continue to read more and more. The link is at the top of my profile. Okay. We have Christina here too. Here you are, Christina. Christina and Sodi, there was just like back to back they purchased. Sodi had said, I purchased. Christina bought it. She's out in Canada. And there's that, right? So we have all sorts of Blueprint Babes, different results, in different phases of their lives, right? We're all different ages, we're all around the world, and we're all different ethnicities, okay? If you are a woman wanting queen treatment, a man who invests in you, date 1, you will get it with my system. So drop your questions in the chat if you have any questions. If we don't have too many more questions, I may pop off for a little bit, but I will be back later. I always love hanging out. But what questions do we have? If you're new here, please follow. I will, like I said, I'll be on live a little bit later on tonight. I will for sure be on live right before our group coaching. So anyone wants to join last minute before we get in there, that's group coaching days are always the best days to join the community because you get immediate one-on-one with me. The way group coaching works is it's like we're all on a phone call. Okay. We're all on a phone call. I listen to you. One by one, what's going on in your week? Where do you need guidance? Where do you need whatever it is? I listen to you. We work things out. I give you that guidance. And then you get to hear what other women are dealing with. It's so fun. I love our group coaching days. So fun. All right, friends. Well, since we don't have too many other questions, one last time, if you are ready to become a Blueprint Babe, tap the banner below and choose your adventure. One-time purchase, $127 with the discount code, or you can join my community, The Lab. You get my system, but you also get to text me at any time, and I'm there to respond. If you need a script, what to say to a man, how to get you the treatment that you're looking for, date 1, other dates, 2, 3, I'm there for you. Tonight we have group coaching at 8 p.m. And today the lesson that I put in there, because I drop content in the community on a daily basis, it's about how to stay mysterious. Because staying mysterious with a man is going to get you further in life than telling him all of your fucking business, right? Hi, Ollie, how are you? What type of pictures work on the dating apps? That's such a great question. So in phase 1 of my blueprint, I tell you exactly what pictures and what words to put into your profile. So that updates your marketing and it increases your visibility. When you increase your visibility, you're going to start attracting a lot of different type of men. Your numbers are going to increase. And in this dating economy, it's a numbers game. You want to be talking to multiple men. You want to be dating multiple men because you're going to be vetting for the best man for you. And first date is always, if you set it up for queen treatment, date 1, queen treatment for me, right, is I only date gentlemen. They pick me up, they open my door, they buy me flowers, and of course they pay for wherever we're going, whatever event, whatever it is, it's on their dime, Okay. Queen treatment, date 1. A lot of women aren't even getting that on date 1. Before my system, not even before my system, I attracted my ex-boyfriend. Phase 1 of the blueprint is the only thing that existed, the marketing phase. I put the right pictures, the right words, and I attracted my ex-boyfriend. But even when I was attracting him and what I learned, and now that what I'm teaching, I didn't get queen treatment. What I just communicated queen treatment now, I wasn't getting with my ex-boyfriend. Thank you so much. Not on first date, at least. I had to turn his masculine switch on and communicate that was my expectation, and then he started doing it. Okay? But if I would have set it up the way I'm teaching you in the beginning, it would have started happening date 1. But most women think that, oh, let me give him resources, time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie if you choose, and then ask for investment. You don't do it that way. Okay? He, paid for everything. I've never been on a date where I've had to pay. Never. Okay? I've never been on a date that I've had to pay. So he paid for the date, but he didn't open my door, right? I had to kind of get him to do that, right? He didn't have that standard, and I didn't communicate that beforehand. So I'm teaching you in phases 2 and 3 the lessons that I learned in that relationship. So phase 2, you're vetting for men who are going to invest and treat you like a queen, date 1. And then most importantly, you're going to stay detached and observe their investment signals and behavior in you over time. So over time, I was with my ex-boyfriend for only 6 months because not necessarily, it wasn't the investment, it was the behavior that was the issue. And 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen with most women. You leave a man, why? Because of his behavior. Okay? You leave because of behavior, not necessarily because lack of investment. Sometimes if that's not there. But with my ex-boyfriend, we were together for 6 months over cuffing season. My birthday is in January. Okay. So I turned 40 in January. We celebrated my 40th. He was 31 at the time. In that 6 months, holiday seasons are expensive. He paid for all of our dates. I never paid for anything. I never drove anywhere. In addition to that, he gave me $5,000 cash and bills paid. Okay. However, what I learned in that relationship is that if a man's not making your life easier, he's making it harder. And if he's not keeping your nervous system regulated, he's dysregulating it by stressing you out and putting you in scary situations. So what I learned is he's somewhat of a provider, right? But he's not a protector. So that lasted 6 months and he was fucking out. Okay? Out. I love the chart. You get this in phase 3 of my system. Okay. Phase 3, this is the most important phase because this is a snapshot, no joke, of like the first week I started roster dating. The snapshot of how the men were investing, what they were doing, all of that, right? So this is going to, when I update and refine the system, you're still going to get this graph, but it's going to have more understanding to it as I refine it. Okay. So Blueprint 2.0 is right around the corner. I am currently working on it. Once you become a Blueprint babe, you're always going to get the updates. So if you invest today, you're going to naturally get the 2.0. That's part of the reason why if you go it solo, I'm giving you a $30 discount. When you're in the community, you're already getting a discount. That's why it's $57 a month. Okay. So choose your adventure. Choose your adventure. Solo journey, one-time purchase, $127 with the discount code. Once 2.0 is complete, $157. That discount code disappears. The community is 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You do get the system, but you also get to text me anytime you want. You need guidance, I'm there for you. You also get group coaching happening tonight, 8 p.m. So I'd love to see you in there. If you are new here, please follow. And if you do become a Blueprint babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. Okay. I really need that type of direction. Yeah. So if you're looking for more guidance, more direction, the lab is for you. If you're cool with just applying the system on your own, you're still going to get really great results. You're just not going to get that one-on-one direction from me. Hi, Kayla. How are you? Are there safety tips for dating included? Are they spread throughout the phases or in their own phase? Kayla, that is such a great question. So phase 2 has the safety protocols, but right now, as I'm updating the blueprint, it's going to have its own little section because it deserves its section. So you already have safety protocols in the system because I want you to be safe, okay? But I'm also going to be refining it and giving it its own section. So if you choose your adventure, one-time purchase, $127, solo journey, or you get the system plus group coaching, you get to text me at any time, get that extra guidance. That is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. So you can tap the Service Plus button or you can tap my icon. The link is at the top of my bio. Okay. I'm brand new here. You're magnetic and beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Grieving the loss of a wiener. Sorry. What should women invest in men? Women don't invest in men. Okay. We're not investors. Okay. Men invest in women. What you're asking though is what are women giving in return? How are we reciprocating their investment is what you're asking. Okay. So what you're asking and the answer is that you're giving him finite resources you'll never get back from him. You're giving him your time, your attention, your validation, your physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. Once you give this to a man, you're never getting it back. That's why it requires investment on his part for your resources. Another question that comes out after I say that, well, isn't a man giving you the same thing? Well, yeah. But the thing is that this is an economy. And this man is trying to take you out for a date. He wants your resources. You don't want his. And we're not bartering, okay? We're not bartering here. So he has to come with a higher standard to get access. Because as a woman, you're setting the standard to what you're allowing into your life. So for me, if a man is not capable or unwilling to give me queen treatment date 1, guess what? He gets 0 resources. I just disappear. Okay? And funny enough, I had a date last Thursday. I've already vetted. He's out. He's been liquidated. So his flowers are still here, but he doesn't get my resources anymore because he fucked it up. Okay? And that's the beauty of roster dating is when a man fucks up and you drop him off your roster, it doesn't matter because you're talking to other men, you're dating other men. There's no more grieving a man that was barely even there. There's no more being in your feelings and being off the market, healing. No, girl, you just keep your life moving. And guess what? I have another tentative date on Thursday. What's Thursday? Tomorrow with a potential babe, right? You're from the Caribbean. Awesome. Or Caribbean. I don't know how you want to pronounce that. Blueprint babes are all over the world. We're all over the world. Okay, that was going to be my question if it updated automatically. Sweet. Yes, it updates automatically. So we have another blueprint babe in the house. Amor. Welcome, welcome. Hi, how are you, Sandra? I will try to get a credit card to make that payment. Awesome. Let me work on this. Beautiful. How to respond when they say, what value do you bring to them? Shake my head. Okay. That's a really great question, Sandra. You never respond to a man who asks that. Ever. Ever. That is him flat out telling you he's out. Okay. And why is that? Because that is a man trying to get you to perform for him when he is the one that needs to be performing for you. Okay. And this is how men trick women. Because the value that you bring to the table is he wouldn't be sitting at that table if he didn't invite you to it. So clearly he sees value in you because why are you even fucking there? In addition to that, never say this to a man, but what you are providing is, not even providing, but what he's investing in is your resources, your finite resources that you're giving him that you will never get back. Your time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie if you decide to give that. Regardless, you're giving these 4 when you're on a first date. So if a man is asking you what you bring to the table, he's clueless. Vet him out. Because if he doesn't see the value that you bring, because he wouldn't even be on that date if you didn't exist, he's out. Loser. Out. Men won't invest when we give them free samples. All women should be privy to your knowledge shared. Thank you so much. Yeah, free samples, and that's just it. Most women let men rob them blind. You're giving them all your resources, right? And then waiting and hoping that he invests. I'll tell, some women will come into my chat. I've been dating him for all this time. When should I start asking him to invest? Oh, baby girl, you're late. You're late because date 1. Because date 1 is a preview to date 2, 3, 6 months, 10 years, the relationship. And don't you want to be treated like a queen date 1? I know I do. Are men going to be capable of doing that long term? Some will, others won't. But that's why phase 3 of my system is the most important phase. Staying detached and observing investment and behavior over time. Because that's what matters. Because most of these men, over time, they're going to fall off, whether by choice or by behavior. Okay? He gets social status just to talking to a woman. Women have value, right? Hi, Amor. How are you? How long is the program? It's not a program. It's a system. Okay? It's a system that you apply. So phase 1 of my system, you get on the dating apps. I tell you what pictures, what words to put in the dating apps. Okay? You apply that, you literally could do that tonight, and by tomorrow, getting better results. Phase 2 of the system is vetting these men on the dating apps once you match. And you can use this out in the wild or on the dating apps, social media, wherever. If you're talking to a man, this is going to work, okay? So phase 2, I teach you how to turn on their masculine switch and start vetting for men who are going to invest in you, date 1, men who are going to make your life easier, and men who are not going to dysregulate your nervous system. If men have these 3 standard qualities, they are masculine, provider, and protectors. They're worth dating. Are they going to be your person? Probably not, but at least they're a quality man. That's why phase 3 of my system, you're observing behavior and investment over time. And part of 2.0, the blueprint 2.0 that I'm refining is what you're going to be looking for long-term behaviors. Okay. Because right now I talk a lot about investments. I talk a lot about it as stocks, and because you're an asset, you're a stock, right? And so is he. So I talk a lot about it in financial terms. I'm going to reduce that and just focus it more on, yes, investment, but also behavior, because behavior is really, it's a make or break for you. And not just behavior, but also compatibility, lifestyle. Those are the things that matter long term, okay? Most people will get into a relationship, they're not compatible, they have opposite lifestyles, and they're hoping and praying that it's going to work long term. They have different hobbies, they're completely different people that have just come together and hoping and praying that it'll work. Sometimes it works, most times it doesn't. Because lifestyle, compatibility, behavior, investment, communication skills, all those things matter and like make up a relationship. So phase 2, right? You're no longer on the dating apps getting to know men. You're vetting men. And then phase 3, that's where the long part comes in, because it's time. You can't change time. I can't change time. Observing investment and behavior over time. That's where the time piece comes into play. Everything else you can literally start applying now. So if you're ready for my system, tap the banner below. It's a one-time, if you go solo, you're applying the system on its own by yourself. Solo journey, one-time purchase, $127 with the discount code. Once 2.0 is finalized, the price is officially $157. But because I'm currently working on it, you're going to get 1.0 and then you're going to get 2.0 relatively quickly. Okay? So enjoy that discount. If you are looking for extra guidance, want more one-on-one whenever you want to talk to me, pretty much, join my community, the lab. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. $57 a month. Okay. So again, it is a system. It's not a program. The community, it's a 6-month commitment because you're committing 6 months to yourself applying this system. You're committing 6 months to yourself to get the results that you're looking for. Also, I know as a fact that it's going to take you 6 months, because I used to train people back in the day, corporate training, right? Teaching people systems. So it's going to take you 3 months to really understand the system and get applying it. And then it's going to take you 6 months total to really understand it and just apply it naturally. And up to a year applying it, that it just who you are organically. You're no longer thinking about it. It becomes part of your subconscious programming. So that is a 6-month commitment because, again, you're committing to yourself and it's going to take you that time to apply it. When you're doing it out on your own, that's totally fine. You're still going to get the results. The issue is that when most people do it on their own, they're not doing it consistently. Some will, right? If you want to do it consistently. Others, they'll apply it and maybe kind of wave back and forth, right? They're going to get results, maybe not with every man, and just go back and forth. Instead, in the community, you're going to pretty consistently get results because I'm there to guide you to get those results. Anytime you're like, what do I say in this situation? Drop your screenshot. I'm going to let you know. Okay? What to say to these men. Okay. So here's what Meg says specifically about the system. She went solo and then decided to join the community later on. So if you are doing it solo and want to join the community, I have a discount code for you to get the first month free. Okay. She says, the first time I read the plan, honestly, I thought, is this it? But the genius is in the simplicity. Using your system, I'm seeing a big increase in the number of matches. When you have more to pick from, the ones that don't work for you are easy to dismiss. I wish all women had this. This is a babe that is in my community. She says, the blueprint has finally given me something concrete to evaluate. Marriage may or may not be in my future, but I will never again confuse a man enjoying access to me with a man genuinely improving my life. So that's a couple. Okay. Do you have to be active in the community? What if I personally don't connect with others in it? You don't have to be active, Kayla. We have women that are super active, right? Sometimes they interact with each other, but mostly it's on Discord, so you're just dropping it in the chat. The way that you guys are engaging in with each other is more like reading what you guys are saying. Sometimes they'll engage with each other, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, it's however you want. We have a lot of women who aren't even active at all. Okay, that doesn't mean that they're not reading what's in the community. Some may not. Just think of it like just any type of membership, like a gym membership. Do you want to be in the gym every day and get that? Absolutely, you can get that. Or you can have a gym membership and never use it. Okay? Same. But you get to pick and choose. So if you want to be active, whenever you want to be active, I'm there for you. And until then, you enjoy the content as it is. Okay? Kayla, remind me, are you currently a Blueprint babe? I know I've seen you in my chat before. I just cannot recall off the top of my head. Okay, they asked me what my ideal love. I guess I have long list, then get ghosted. My ideal love? Yeah, if you're giving them a long list, too many words, men tune out, okay? Unless you're talking to a type of man who is like equally yoked when it comes to that level of conversation. But for me, personally, what I've learned over this entire time of not just dating men, I've been studying these men. No joke, this has been my research, okay? I've been able to put this system together, not just for my personal dating, but literally doing this research. What I've personally noticed is the more words I give a man, he's gonna tune out. And the more words a man gives me, he's lying, okay? That's just that. No, not currently, been considering it. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so if you're considering it, choose your adventure, right? You can do the one-time purchase and go at it solo adventure on your own. Before I update it to the 2.0, I am giving you a $30 discount. So instead of it being $157, it is $127. Or you can join the community. You get the blueprint, but you also, get to talk to me whenever you want. Anytime you have a question, anytime you have a screenshot, any guidance you need, throw it in the chat. I'm there for you. You don't have to engage if you don't want to, but you're still going to get value of it because the women who are asking the questions, they're probably asking questions that you're going to get value of getting direction from. Because it may be their current situation and not yours, but it may be one of your situation in the future. So you're going to be able to navigate it. So you're learning from other women's experiences as well. In addition to that, I create daily content to help you on your journey. So that's $57 a month, 6-month commitment. So for 6 months, it's less than $2 a day. I think it's like $1.90 every day for the next 6 months. You get the system, and then you get to engage how you choose. How you choose. So if anybody does become a Blueprint babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. Okay, so let me show you this testimonial. Okay. So here's a few. Actually, let's start with Jill. Jill is in my community. She joined the day of group coaching. I have group coaching every Tuesday and Wednesdays. If you want to join, great. Again, not required. It just gives you extra guidance. So Jill joined on a Tuesday. So same thing can happen to you today if you join, right? She joined the day of a group coaching. She had group coaching with me. The next day, she dropped a question in the chat saying, hey, what do I say to this man? I gave her direction, gave her a little script, and by Thursday, she's coming back in 2 days. It's going good. It's working. I got my nails paid for today. Haven't met the guy. Never, not even my ex-husband of 17 years. The system works. So in 2 days, she made up her money for 1 month. Okay. A man paying for her nails literally is the cost of 1 month of the blueprint. Okay. And probably even more depending on where you get your nails done. Because I know if I get a manicure and a pedicure, it's more than $57. Okay. So she's already made up her money there. Jen has already made up her money as well. Jen, it took her 10 days. First try and first success, the blueprint already paid for itself. She ends up texting me a picture of her at the hair salon. She has beautiful, thick, long hair. Expensive, right? Man pays for it. So the blueprint has already paid for itself with one man. And she's going to continue to do this over and over and over and over again. And she's already made her money back, okay? Meg started solo and then later on joined the community. She said, it paid for itself 2 times over in 4 days for me. Second date, he bought me flowers again and a Starbucks drink. Literally all because of you. You changed my life. I get anxious and annoyed. Well, let me show you what the blueprint does here. Here's another review of Sandra. Okay, her system prevents a long and wasteful talking stage. Meg also adds, it's worth it just to end the anxiety of dating. You changed my life. And why do you end the anxiety of dating? Here. Using your system, I see a big increase in the number of matches. When you have more to pick from, the ones that don't work for you are easy to dismiss. I wish all women had this. If you're getting anxious and annoyed, it's for multiple reasons, right? You're probably talking to the wrong man. You're probably not talking to enough men, and you're not getting the results that you want, and that's why you're getting anxious, annoyed, and all the things. Instead of becoming a blueprint babe, staying detached and observing these men and seeing what they're going to offer you. Because you're going to be really surprised. These men are offering. Most of these things you're not even going to have to ask for. These men are offering. Okay? And when they're offering, you're just saying, yeah, and receiving. Sometimes you're going to have to ask. Why? Because closed mouths don't get fed and men aren't mind readers. But when you learn how to ask in feminine ways like this, no problem. How do you think? Do you think they're just showing up with flowers by themselves? No. I'm asking for this because this is my standard. But in the way that I communicate it in timing, they always deliver. Okay? So that's one flowers. This is another flower from another date that I had probably a couple months ago now. Okay? This babe, I attracted with the blueprint, full system. I only had 1 date with him. You're going to have only a handful of dates. 1 date, 2 date, 3 date, and they're going to fizzle out. I call those fireworks, okay? If you want to use psychobabble and get into your feelings, other women and other people would call it love bombing. I call it a firework. Why? Because it's only love bombing if you're attached to the loser that's love bombing you. And it's only love bombing if they are yapping words and there's no actions to it. But if there's actions to the words, it's not love bombing. It's a firework. Okay? So he is my Cash App babe. And I call him my Cash App babe because he wanted to spoil me before date 1. And how did he want to spoil me? Money. He gave me multiple Cash Apps totaling $500 before date 1. Date 1, again, because I only date gentlemen. He picked me up, opened my doors everywhere, to my car, in and out, right? Wherever we went, and of course, paid for the evening and bought me an orchid because this man was very different from the rest of them, okay? He was, very successful for his age. This guy is in his mid to early 20s. Again, I'm 40, and this guy was investing in me. Age doesn't matter. Age gaps don't matter, whether it's lower or higher, because this guy was 10, 15 years younger than me. This guy was like 10 or 15 years older than me. Okay? Same. Men are going to be men. And the men that like you are going to do these things for you regardless. Regardless. Are all men going to be a Cash App babe? No. But this man was. Do you think I'm going to hate on a man giving me $500? Of course not. Of course not. But this is what Blueprint babes are getting. Christina is a Blueprint babe. She's out in Canada. She's getting babes giving her money pretty often, okay? She gets that queen treatment, okay? That's what she's accustomed to. This is only here to say, I'm sorry, but you don't look like the type to be invested on. Thank you so much for being an asshole, okay? The thing is that you may not want to invest in me, but you don't qualify to date me regardless. So I don't give a fuck what you think I look like, right? You're not my type. You don't qualify. So you can think all you want that I don't deserve investing because of my looks, but guess what, bitch? I'm still getting it regardless of what you think of my looks. And that's probably why you're saying what you're saying. Jealous, not getting the results. And if I look rougher than you and you're not getting these results, that sucks for you, okay? But that's a you problem. And you can easily fix that. Why? Because I give you the system. Oh, I'm not triggered, babe. No. There's no reason to be triggered by a fucking loser. But what I love to do is put a loser in their place, whether you're a man or a woman, okay? So take your pick. Are you a princess? Pick Misha. Which are you? Okay? Which are you? Because again, what you think of what I look like doesn't matter to me. You're a random ass person on the internet, and clearly you don't think much about yourself because you don't even have your picture as an icon, okay? That says more about you than it does me. But random trolls on the internet are going to say whatever the fuck that they say. It doesn't matter because my results are phenomenal, and fuck my results because my Blueprint babes results are even better. And those are the results that I actually care about. Okay? Because when it comes to the market, doesn't matter what you look like. Men who like you, invest in you, find you attractive, they're going to invest in you and take you out and wine and dine you if you know how to turn on his masculine switch. But most people don't know how. And that's why they're getting the results that they're getting. And instead of, trying to get better results as a man or a woman for themselves, they're on the internet bashing people on how they look but pure jealousy. Pure jealousy. Be jealous. We love a jelly bean around here. Okay? We love a jelly bean around here. Okay. Yes, need to get back into the game. Yes, babe. Yes, babe. Do you help with outfits to choose on a first date? I can if you want to. Absolutely. That would be something that I would be doing more in my community because you would get that one-on-one. Whatever you want help with when it comes to your dating life, I'm there. I haven't had any women ask me, but I was a professional makeup artist in that arena for a very long time. That's easy. That's easy. Oh, he finally gave me 500 days ago, feeling grateful. It's been a few months. He did not. Gave me 500 days ago, feeling grateful. It's been a few months. He didn't. So he gave you $500. He hasn't given you money again? Estrogen Kings, always at it. Oh, I love that. I haven't heard that one before. Estrogen Kings. That's a new one. Low testosterone. That one for sure. Low testosterone for sure. Right? For sure. And the thing is that the easiest thing that a person can do, and it's not just the easiest, but the lowest, how do I say this? Low IQ people bash people's looks because they literally can't get at them any other way. So it's easier to come after someone's looks because it's just low IQ. You literally can't come up with anything better? Really? Okay. Sure. Sure. But it is what it is. We've had a lot of losers and pick-me-shas today. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Okay. So, who is ready to become a Blueprint babe? Drop it in the chat if you do become a Blueprint babe. I want to make sure that I welcome you. And and choose your adventure. It's a one-time purchase, $127, solo journey. You apply the system on your own, you're still going to get amazing results. Or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You'll get more of that one-on-one guidance. So like our friend earlier asking, will you help me with picking an outfit? Of course, I can help you with that. That will be more of that one-on-one guidance in the community. I also will help you with scripts. Like, what do you say to a man who says X, Y, and Z? You can drop those, screenshots in the chat. When you get into the community, it's a chat. So you literally get to scroll back and see all the conversations that have been had. The conversations where I've guided other women in their situations, where I've added extra content to to support you on this journey. Because be for real, we're all somebody's cup of tea, honey. And that's just it. The thing is that it's a market. Right? It's a market. And the same way you go to the grocery store, guess what? Different grocery stores sell different things, okay? Different grocery stores have different levels of class, right? You're not going to have the same environment shopping at a dollar store as you would at Fresh Market, right? Different. Do they sell similar things? Probably, yeah. Okay, but the environment is very different from a Dollar Tree to a Fresh Market, a Whole Foods, okay? Same. It's a market. You get to pick and choose where you want to shop, the environments that you want, the experiences that you have. Some people, right, they're on a budget. Dollars are tight. So, of course, they're going to shop at places that are going to give them more access where they can stretch their dollar. But when you're stretching your dollar, those people aren't necessarily thinking about the environment that they're shopping in. Okay? Same difference when you're dating. If you're not thinking about the environment that you're dating in, are you dating like a Dollar Tree type of an experience? Dollar Tree type of experience would probably be a coffee, a drink, a walk, a gym date, an ice cream, an app, cheap, no investment or very little because the dollar needs to be stretched. And that's fine, right? You get to pick and choose. I wouldn't recommend that for you. But if you like him because he's hot, has a big dick, whatever, then he's a 20% babe. You can keep 20% babe on your roster, but you're not going to marry 20% babe. You're not going to expect a relationship out of 20% babe. You're going to expect what he's giving you, which is very little. Okay? And you get to pick and choose, as a woman, the access that you allow to men. But I'm teaching you to choose better. My system literally just helps you choose better. That's all. Okay. Alrighty, so what other questions do we have? We don't have too many more questions. I'm probably going to head out for a minute and then be back a little bit later. If you do become a Blueprint Babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. We do have group coaching going on in about 3 hours at 8 p.m. So I would love to see you in there, especially if you do get group coaching. You're going to make your money up pretty quick. Okay, that it's very unusual unless you're just not looking to make up your money. Okay, most women want to be treated, right? Who's not going to want their nails done, their hair done, or at least test it, right? Because the results, my system are going to give you the results that you're looking for. But if you're not asking and if you're not applying it, you're not going to get these results. It's harder to get them. Okay, it's just harder. Can you get them? Yeah, it's just. How are you attracting? You don't have a system, right? And when you have a system, life runs smoother. A system is like a routine, right? Imagine your day without your routine. You know how messy it gets. You feel clunky. You're like, what's going on? There's more steps that you have to think about. When you have a system, you're in flow. It's just going. It's just moving for you. You don't have to think twice about it. So phase 1, you get on the dating apps with the right pictures, the right words. Phase 2, you start vetting these men. You're going to figure out, are these men going to invest in me? Are they going to make my life easier? And you're going to observe how they're keeping your nervous system regulated. Or are they doing shit that's already pissing you off and stressing you out? Because if they're already doing shit to piss you off, stress you out, he's out. Because these qualifications, investment, life easier, nervous system regulation, that equals a provider and a protector. And provider and protectors are masculine men. They have qualities and characteristics that are worth getting to know him for. And then you stay detached and then observe, does he actually fit you long term? Because just because he's a provider and protector doesn't mean he's going to be the best fit for you. At least you know that you're dating a man who is a masculine man where you can sit back and be in your feminine and have more of that natural dynamic. Because when you have more of that natural dynamic, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better. Should I judge the restaurant they choose? I mean, you can, Emma. How are you doing today? Does it need to be expensive? If you want it to be expensive, think about where you want to go. And then if they're offering that restaurant, you don't have to say yes if it's not a restaurant that you want to go to. So for example, this babe, right? The babe that I went out on Thursday, his first offer, I don't accept dinner dates. You don't have to do that, but that's just my standard. Like dinner for me, one, it's a high calorie activity. And two, if I'm dating multiple men same week, like I don't need to be doing that, right? In addition to that, going on dinner dates is just fucking boring to me. I've been there, done that so many times. It just gets very, very boring. Okay. If that's what you want, have fun. That's pretty standard as a date. Okay. For me, different, right? So if a man like this man, he offered me dinner. Do you know what my response was to him? Well, one, I didn't have a response. So he double texts and he's like, crickets. And I said, yeah, dinner and drinks is just really boring to me, babe. So then guess what he did? He started offering me other things until what? I said yes. So it's not necessarily that I guess kind of judging, right? But judging, but also not accepting. Because you can judge, but if you're going to be judgmental about it, then you better not be going on it. Because then you're not going to have fun and then you're just going to be a party pooper, right? Because if you're doing something that you don't want to be doing, that sucks. You don't have to say yes to things that you don't want to do. You don't have to say yes to things you don't want to do. Okay, so if you're ready to become a Blueprint Babe, now's your chance. Now's your chance. Okay, one-time purchase with the discount code, $127. I'm giving you $30 off. And that discount code isn't going to last forever. As soon as Blueprint 2.0 is done, it's $157, okay? Or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. 6-month commitment, $57 a month. All right. So you get my system, but you also get to text me at any time. I'm there to give you the guidance, whatever you need. I also create daily content for you to, digest. So, and it supports you on your Blueprint Babe journey. So like today, I put in content about the importance of staying mysterious and what things not to share with a man. Okay? Because that matters. So for example, the TikTok today for like what not to share with a man, right? Flowers on a first date. Yes, babe. That's my standard. Flowers on a first date. Standard. Okay? I think you're following me already, right? You've seen the rest of the flowers that I've gotten. So that's a standard for me. If that's not a standard for you yet, if you become a Blueprint Babe and you learn what I'm teaching you, that's going to be easy. Especially when you're in my community, the lab, you get extra scripts that I haven't even put into the Blueprint because the Blueprint Babes in the lab, I'm giving them those extra scripts in their situations. Some of them I'm going to update for 2.0, but it's still going to be very simple. Lukey, leave it, baby. Do you tell them that you expect flowers on the first date? Some, yes. It's all in how you say it. Okay. I communicate and I teach you how to vet for men who are going to give you queen treatment date 1. Okay. Closed mouths don't get fed. Men aren't going to know your standards. They're not mind readers. So if you're not communicating it in a feminine way, which I teach you in my system to turn on their masculine switch, so you get flowers date 1. Okay. No problem. Never has it been a problem to get flowers date 1. And the one time that it was, guess what? The man didn't get a date. He just didn't get a date. How do you go about asking? That's such a great question, Remy. I teach you in my community, the lab. Specifically that with flowers, I'm going to be adding it probably into Blueprint 2.0. I'm not sure just yet. I haven't decided. But as I refine the system, those scripts to get that queen treatment, I'm going to give those to you. Okay. It is so simple. It's turning on a masculine switch. And out of the dates that I've accepted, which haven't been many, not because I'm not in demand, but literally because I have other things going on in my life. I'm not here just to date. I'll go out on dates with men who have made it worth it for me. Flowers have been a standard, though. With my system, all of the dates that I've accepted, I've gotten flowers. There's only been one man who started giving me pushback when it came to flowers. And I said, okay, well, good luck. This isn't happening. Okay? Because these men need these dates more than you do. And if a man isn't going to meet your baseline standard to give access to a date, time, attention, validation, physical presence, he doesn't get the date. It's the same thing as if I expect queen treatment, gentlemen picking me up, opening me doors, buying me flowers, of course, funding the night, and it being a very good night, whatever we decide to do. That's standard. So why would I ever accept a date from a man who wants to take me out to a drink or wants to take me to the gym or out for an ice cream or out for a walk? No, those men aren't getting those dates. Okay. They're just not. So they don't get dates from me. They're just going to go get dates from women whose bar is in hell, and that will accept all that shit from them. Okay. Okay, what about first date? If he's coming 3 hours away, what do I do? He's coming to my area. How much is your class? Okay, same thing. It doesn't matter where he is. If he's traveling to you from across the world, Emma, you still have standards, don't you? You're not lowering your standards just because he's traveling 3 hours. That's just telling you he's investing a little bit more to come to you. But just because he's investing a little bit more to come to you doesn't mean that you're lowering your standards for that. So for example, I don't think he was like 3 hours away, but I think he was probably like an hour away. My Cash App babe. Cash App babe, $500, multiple Cash Apps before date one. Complete gentleman. Buys me an orchid, wines and dines me, opens my doors, all the things. Okay. So, Sherry, to answer your question, it's not a class, it's a system. The system is a one-time purchase today, going solo. Choose your adventure. You can apply the system on your own. One-time purchase, $127 with the discount code BB30. Okay. Or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. Okay. You get group coaching happening tonight at 8 p.m. You get to text me at any time. What do I say here? What do I wear here? Profile audits, whatever. Okay, I'm there for you. In addition to that, you have other women on the same journey. You also get extra content to binge. So today, the lesson that I put in there is why being mysterious is very important to keep his masculine switch on. So if you do become a Blueprint babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. Yes, we should be doing a one-night thing, not like a full weekend date. I mean, it's up to you. If he's coming over, it's up to you. Depending on, you're so welcome, Sherry. If you do become a Blueprint babe, let me know. Just drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. So Emma, if you are, you have that one date with him and you really like him and you want to see him the next day, don't limit yourself. Have fun. But if he's not meeting your standard and there's other things that just don't add up, you don't have to go on like a whole weekend date. You get to pick and choose. You get to pick and choose. Okay. So if you join the lab, right, you're going to get the tea on why this babe was liquidated. Okay. We had a really great first date, and I'm going to be really honest. Out of all of the babes that I've gone on first dates with, I was probably the most compatible with him. Funny enough, small world, we were in the same, he's still in an industry that I used to be in. Okay. So a lot of similarities there, but what I had noticed is long-term, it wasn't just going to work. But that's why phase 3 of my system, observing behavior investment over time, is going to be important. And as I update the blueprint to 2.0, what else I'm going to add into this section is lifestyle, behaviors, habits. Those things matter. because that is what's going to either keep you together or destroy the relationship. Okay. So what other questions do we have? Drop it in the chat. If you do become a Blueprint Babe, let me know. I want to make sure that I welcome you. Okay, what other questions do we have? Drop it in the chat. If you do become a Blueprint Babe, let me know. So yes, so the date that I went on last Thursday, great date. He's already been liquidated. A second date will not be happening. So I teach you exactly why in my community. So that was that. And that one's a really good lesson, because even though you're compatible with someone, if things aren't adding up, if he's behaving a certain way, he's out. And most women think that, well, he gave me queen treatment and he bought me flowers and we were so compatible and X, Y, and Z. And then they skip over the shit that pisses them off, the shit that actually matters. Okay? Why, when I set boundaries, men act different and I feel like it broke down the connection? It depends on how you're setting them and when you're setting them. How, communicating, when, because all that kind of stuff matters. But then also when you set up boundaries are for you and not the other person. That's like that line that you're not going to cross. And depending on how it was communicated and what that boundary is, yeah, it sometimes will break down a connection, for sure. For sure. Okay. So if you're ready to become a Blueprint Babe, choose your adventure, one-time purchase, $127, or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. That's less than $2 a day. I think it's like $1.90 for the next 6 months. And you can be as active in the community or as inactive. You can join group coaching or not, right? You could just be a lurker, right? How many lurkers do we have that aren't active, right? They're just observing and consuming the content, getting the knowledge without necessarily participating. You get to pick and choose. We have women who are super, super active. We have women who are not active at all. Like, wanted to see me last minute and I say it's too late to text, ghosted. Yeah, well, in that scenario, that man was just very low effort. And is it ghosting, or is he just like disappeared for a few days, a week, and then comes back around? Because sometimes that happens, okay? Sometimes that happens. So when you become a Blueprint Babe, it's no longer ghosting. It's just like men are going to come in and out in your life, and then you get to pick and choose. If he shows back up, are you going to deal with him or not? And why did he disappear to begin with? Because sometimes life happens. And like for me, what I literally teach you in the Blueprint is not just to make better decisions and dating decisions and choices, but I teach you to date like a man. I teach you to date like a man. Because the more that you can date like a man, you're going to get better results from these men. Better results from these men. So drop your questions in the chat. And what I say by dating like a man is you're detached. You're playing the field. You're seeing what works for you. You're responding when you want to respond. You ghost when you want to ghost. You come back when you want to come back. You do whatever you want, because guess what? It's your life. It's your life. And guess what? On top of it, he's going to do whatever he wants to do. So act accordingly. Act accordingly. Alrighty, what other questions do we have? Do you get what do you mean at talking to men? Do you get experience at talking to men? Like, yeah, because part of it, you on the dating apps, you're talking to men. So of course you're going to get that experience. And here's the thing too, when you're applying my system, you can practice on these men, right? You practice on these men, you don't have to accept these dates. So a lot of my Blueprint Babes, I had a babe just recently join. She's new to relationships. She's younger, right? I think she's probably in her early 20s. So she's new to the whole dating thing. We have other women in my community who are just new to relationships, right? When you understand that you are going to allow the best man to win, that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. I'm talking to a lot of other guys. Now he's mad. Do you think I should keep chasing? I did apologize. It's not like we're married. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. No. So, of course, he's mad, right? But it depends on what type of mad he is. Most men are very territorial and jealous. But if he's not a man that is investing in you, making life easier, keeping your nervous system regulated, there's no reason to keep him around. You should be talking to other men, right? And if he's going to get his panties in a bunch because you're talking to other men, he's already telling you he's not the man for you. Or he's going to get his panties in a bunch and then he's going to show up with a ring or all the things that are required to actually take you off the market. But he better be investing. He better be making your life easier, and he better not be stressing you out or putting you in scary situations, because then he's not a provider or a protector and he's out. And women should never chase. The egg doesn't chase the sperm chases the egg. So never chase a man, ever. Because as soon as you start chasing the man, you've turned off his masculine switch. You are the pursuer. You're the boyfriend. And if you are the boyfriend, he can't be the boyfriend. That means you've put him in princess mode. And now you're dating a princess because of what? And why? You're talking to all these other men. Drop him. Who cares? Who cares, honey? Who cares? Get another one. Like, do you get better at flirting with men? Oh, yeah, of course, right? Of course. But that's a practice, right? It's a skill to flirt. And honestly, I'm not even teaching you like flirting aspects. A little bit, but you'd be surprised of what I'm teaching you that's considered flirting. It's so simple. I can't even tell you how fucking simple it is. When women on my call, like I have group coaching on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and the women in my community, when they ask me, well, what do I say with this and what do I say with that? And I give them like a super simple little flirting and they're like, that's it. And I was like, yeah, that's it. That's it. But if you don't know, it's going to get a lot harder for you to figure out how to do that. Okay. So if you're ready for my system and to become a blueprint babe, choose your adventure. It's a one-time purchase when you go solo, meaning you're applying the system on your own. I'm giving you $30 off. Why? Because I'm refining the system. You're getting Blueprint 1.0, but right around the corner, you're going to be getting 2.0. So it's $127 one-time purchase, or you can join my community. It is a $57 month, 6-month commitment. So for 6 months, every day, you're going to be spending less than $2 a day. You can be as active, you can be as inactive. I'm there for you regardless. You have questions, you need guidance, you want to know how to say a certain thing, drop your screenshots. You get to show your wins, you get to show your losses, like whatever it is that you want to show. That's what the community is for. In addition to that, you get, like I said, weekly group coaching, and then I put in content on a daily basis. Roster life is pure happiness. Yep. Roster life is the life for me. Roster life is the life for me. That's for sure. And then until the best man wins. Okay. But let me tell you, these men know, right? And as our friend was saying, the guy that's jealous, she's talking to other men. Men know. When I was married, because I was married once upon a time, my ex, I don't know if we were dating or married. We were together for a long time, but not married that long. Okay. I married my high school sweetheart trust fund baby. We got married when I was 26, and I divorced him right before my 30th birthday. Divorce was finalized then. But when we were together, he had mentioned a few times, he's like, you should go get some boyfriends so they can start paying for stuff for us. These men know. These men know how the game is played. Okay? And when you learn how to play the game like a man, you're going to get results. Let me tell you the results. And most importantly, no anxiety, no attachment, no stress, no emotional labor unless you choose to give it to the men who are worth it. But have you noticed most of them aren't? Have you noticed most of them aren't? Having a roster definitely lets you detach. Your focus isn't on one. Exactly. And that's the beauty of roster dating, because most women are talking to one man at a time, dating one man at a time, which means they're putting all of their eggs into one basket. You're literally putting yourself in scarcity mode. And of course you're anxious. And of course you're stressed. And of course you're feeling all of these feelings because this man has all of your eggs and you're expecting him to give you the end game when he probably isn't. And most importantly, not even that he probably isn't, he probably doesn't even fit your ideal for the end game. But because you're so focused on one man, expecting him to be the end result instead of staying detached and letting the best man win, different results, okay? But that's what happens. Phase 3 is the most important phase of my system, staying detached and observing investment behavior over time. Because most women, what happens? They get attached. They're seeing a very great quality characteristic of a person, so in love with this characteristic, but then when they pull back, they're like, it's a 50% babe. He's investing in you 50%. He's set up the relationship and you've accepted it. And most women are marrying this man. They're getting off the market for a 50% babe. Why? When you can roster date, and if you want a 50% babe on your roster, have fun. But why the fuck would you take yourself off the market and only date a fucking 50% babe? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Okay? I found out my husband was trying to cheat on me with this woman for over a year. I'm not talking to other men. He doesn't seem to care. I'm talking to other men and he doesn't seem to care. Well, there you go. That's your answer. Because he doesn't, right? And when he's talking to other women, he's literally told you, okay, this relationship is open. So I'm glad that you're talking to other men. I would hope that you become a blueprint babe, because now you're roster dating. You're going to vet this husband out. And funny enough, once he starts seeing how hot shit you are and what you're getting, he's probably going to come back, especially because you're still married. Not guaranteed, but after you start getting queen treatment, something that your husband has been getting, and cheaters, all men cheat, okay? Do all of them cheat all the way up to the cookie? No. But are they siphoning and stealing resources from a woman? Time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie? Some of them get all the way up to the cookie, but most of them are just stealing this, okay? They're cheating regardless. But once you understand, and of course, if you've caught him in that, it's fair game now. It's fair game. It's easier for you to become emotionally involved and invested when you date one at a time. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, I can't date a week before my period. I get attached. That too. Yeah. Right. He barely even treated me like a queen. I'm not even turned on by him anymore. Oh, well, then you're doing what you should be doing, right? Finding men that you're attracted to, men who are going to turn you on, men who are going to treat you like a queen. So if you're ready to become a blueprint babe, choose your adventure. You can apply my system, one-time purchase, $127 with the discount code that I just dropped in the chat, or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. That's less than $2 a day for the next 6 months. You get the system, but you also get to talk to me whenever you want. Any questions, guidance, I'm there to support you. We also have our group coaching happening tonight at 8 p.m. How do you get queen treatment? Camilla, you're in the right place. You become a blueprint babe. I teach you in my system. So phase 1, you get queen treatment. You got to start attracting these men. The easiest way to start attracting these men is to get on the dating apps. You can use my system out in the wild, but you still want to be on the dating apps. Why? You're on the internet right now, right? You're a woman out in the wild. Same with these men. But when you're on the dating apps, you're going to be able to vet for quality men. But most importantly, with the right pictures and the right words, you're going to be attracting all types of men. Thank you so much, Plush. I love flowers. You're going to attract all types of men. But most women are fucking up on the dating apps and getting to know men instead of vetting men. Vetting men who are going to give you queen treatment, date 1. Vetting for men who are going to make life easier and not dysregulate your nervous system. But if you don't know how to vet, and if you don't know how to even attract these type of men, you're going to continue to get the results that you're getting. And that sucks, right? So when you become a blueprint babe, you get queen treatment date 1. That's not even just my results. We're community all over the world now. I've had the blueprint out for phase 1 has been out for a year, but the full system, it's only been 3-4 months. We are an international group of women. We're all over the world. We're all ages, all ethnicities, and we're getting queen treatment date 1. And funny enough, I made a TikTok on a Pick Me show this morning who is dating in the same market that I'm in. I'm in Tampa Bay, and she was bitching and complaining about how since she's moved to Tampa, every first date that she's been on, she's had to pay. Okay? Well, that makes no fucking sense to me because I'm literally getting queen treatment date 1 in the same market as her. So clearly it's not a Tampa Bay market issue, is it? So on further inspection, reading her comments, a woman asked her, because she's dating here too, she's like, I've never had to pay for a first date. Are you asking or offering to pay? And this dumb bitch fucking drops in her chat or in her comments, yeah, I offer to pay because I think it's courteous, but I also think it's courteous for a man to say no. Well, there's your fucking problem, you dipshit. You're offering to pay and you're expecting not to pay. Which is it? Are you a pick-me-sha or are you a queen? Because queens don't offer to pay on date 1, they just receive. But if you're trying to, what was her word? What did I say? Courteous. If you're trying to be courteous to a man on a first date, that's not a first date. And if it is a first date, you're a fucking pick-me-sha. That was pick-me-sha final boss. Pick-me-sha final boss. Why? Because she's literally offering to pay on first dates and then literally coming on the internet bitching and complaining to women to get their sympathy and validation. Ick, gross, pick-me-sha final boss. You can't have it both ways. You're either a pick-me-sha based on your behavior or you're a queen based on your behavior. That's it. That's it. So, that woman pissed me off this morning. I hate when don't piss me off. When a pick-me-sha comes up first thing when I'm scrolling on TikTok, you know I'm going to make a TikTok because she's pissed me off. Okay, don't piss me off with that bullshit. And her of all, make it make sense. How is it that you're offering to pay for a fucking first date and then bitching about not getting paid for? Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. So if you see yourself in that creator, stop doing that shit. And then you're going to get your shit paid for because what? You're not offering. Hello? 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 Okay. Thank you so much, Plush. I appreciate you posting those little pins. Yes, I don't know how to vet. Camilla, so you're in a great position. I didn't know how to vet, right? Thankfully, I have very strong discernment and intuition that even when I didn't know, I was still doing it pretty successfly. So you're in the right spot because not only have I practiced this, I've literally studied this. My background is in, well, I'm a certified health and wellness coach, but I studied at the University of Florida. I studied psychology, sociology, and economics. So I'm a nerd about this. I'm not going to lie. Okay. See all my books? That's all about behavior, dating, all the things. And this is my fun time. Okay. And if you don't know how to vet, then easy. So simple with my system. Okay. So simple. This is what one of my blueprint babes said. Here's a couple things, right? So Seraphine says the blueprint isn't fluff. It's practical and detailed, my opinion. Meg says, the first time I read the plan, I honestly thought, is this it? But the genius is in the simplicity. Using your system, I'm seeing a big increase in the number of matches. When you have more to pick from, the ones that don't work out for you are easy to dismiss. I wish all women had this. Okay. So vetting you get in phase 2 of the system. Phase 1 is your marketing phase. Right pictures, right words. You're going to get on the dating apps and start attracting men. Phase 2, you're going to learn how to vet these men. Turn on their masculine switch and vet for men who are going to give you queen treatment date 1. Invest, make life easier, keep your nervous system regulated. These are the men who are providers and protectors. So they're quality masculine men. Does that mean he's going to be your end-all be-all? Probably not. However, at least you're getting queen treatment and your standard is higher because now if one man has reached this standard, all of them are going to start doing it. All of them. So as I mentioned, I attracted my ex-boyfriend with phase 1. Phase 1 a year ago is all that existed, marketing. I put the right pictures, the right words, and I attracted my ex-boyfriend. We were together for 6 months. In that 6 months, I never paid for anything. I never drove anywhere. And in addition to that, he gave me $5,000 cash and bills paid. However, date 1, I would not have considered my date 1 with my ex-boyfriend queen treatment. It took me a while to understand how to do this, how to turn on his masculine switch and how to get him to start doing this stuff. But what I also learned in that relationship is phase 3. Most important phase, staying detached and observing investment and behavior over time. Because by the time I got out of that relationship, I had told him being with him felt like having 2 full-time jobs. Not worth it. Okay? If being in a relationship feels like 2 full-time jobs with a man, what is he doing? Making life harder and dysregulating your nervous system. So while he may have invested and done all these things, he's a provider, but what is he not? A protector. And if he's not a protector and a provider, he's not a full-form quality man. So he was out. But most women would have stuck with it because the money's good, this, that, whatever. Trying to push through, he'll change, we'll fix it, da-da-da-da-da, right? Thank you so much, I love flowers. Instead of saying, yeah, no, it's fucking done. And guess what? I have a system to go talk to other men and get better treatment. Because as I mentioned, queen treatment for me, after getting out of that relationship, creating the blueprint, phase 2 and 3 came out of what I learned in that relationship. But also what I learned is I want queen treatment. I'm dating gentlemen. So if you can't pick me up, open my doors, buy me flowers, and then of course pay for the rest of date 1, I'm not going out on a date with you. And not that my first date with my ex-boyfriend was bad, but it wasn't queen treatment. Why? Because yeah, he picked me up, but he didn't open my car door. I literally was standing at the door, pointing at it. He rolled his eyes coming around the car door to open it for me. He actually came out of the door and opened it for me, right? Lessons learned, okay? So while I got queen treatment towards the end, literally this man calling me his queen, it's because what? My behavior started becoming queen. Queen treatment, queen behavior. Pick Misha treatment, pick Misha behavior. Okay? And this man knew that if he wanted access to me, time, attention, validation, physical presence, my cookie, because we were dating, right? That he has to step up in a certain way. Because guess what? With this man, I just stopped responding. No more. I wasn't playing the way most women play, which is courtesy, niceties, acceptance, instead of saying, yeah, no, this doesn't work for me. And once you start saying and speaking up for yourself and literally validating yourself and advocating for yourself, you're going to get those results. But if your mouth's shut and you're just niceties going along with it, whatever he's offering, you're going to get what you fucking get from these losers. Okay? I keep finding avoidant or nonchalant men. I hate it because they're clueless. Yeah. But once you start dating higher caliber men, the nonchalant and avoidant, they're going to stick up like sore thumbs and you're like, yeah, no, out. Because you've already been there, done that. Been there, done that, baby. Okay. When you get married to a bum like that, like I did, you will look back on those dates and feel dumb. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But those are the lessons that we learn. Sometimes we learn them harder than not. I've learned a lot of my own hard lessons when it comes to men. Why do you think I'm talking about what I'm talking about? Because I've been there, done that. And now I'm doing it to a different caliber, getting amazing results. And my results are like minuscule compared to the rest of the Blueprint babes around the world. Okay. So true, right? Okay. Haven't thought about that. Men definitely need to be a protector of my feelings and more. Exactly. And most men are super insensitive. Why? Because that's how they are with themselves and each other. So when it comes to the feeling aspect, that's important, right? Because we have feelings, they have feelings too. However, it's not our job to manage men's feelings, but most men's behavior affect ours. So if it's affecting it, you get to decide depending on the severity, and even it doesn't have to be that severe. Because like I said, if you want to know what happened with this babe and why he's eliminated, right? Even though we had a really great first date, probably one of the better first dates that I've had in a while, compatibility, interest, same industry. So there was a lot of alignment there. But guess what? I'm not going out on a second date with him. He fucked it up. Okay? So that story is in the lab. I posted that over the weekend. That was a fun story. I stopped buying material items and started investing in a business to set me up financially. I love that. With the money I receive from my tricks. Ooh, even better. True, girl, right? Yes, true. But these men who tick all the boxes. But are these men who tick all the boxes? There's always something missing. Right. There's always going to be something not perfect because nothing in life is perfect. Are these men going to tick the boxes right off the bat? Well, the most important boxes, provider and protector, standard masculine man, yes, you know that he's checking off those boxes. But why is phase 3 of my system the most important phase? Because you're not going to know until time goes on. Investment signals behavior over time, continuing to vet and stay detached and observe who he is. And then you're going to determine, does he tick all the boxes? Because he may show up as provider and protector first date, but if that's not his baseline and you don't know how to keep his masculine switch on, it's going to shut off, and then you're not going to be getting what you were getting at the beginning. So when you get to the point you don't want to do anything for these men, does that mean you're done? It depends. It depends, because as a woman, you're not really doing much for these men. As a blueprint babe, you're not doing shit for these men, babe. So, Candy, what you're literally doing for this man is you're showing up being you. You're showing up, and what you are doing for him is giving him your time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie if you choose for certain men. However, you're not going to be giving men who don't deserve access to you your finite resources. So if you're done with those men, that makes sense. Like my babe on Thursday, okay? Had a really great date, first date, and by the next day, he fucked it up. Fucked it up the following day, okay? So I was done. And what happens when you're done? You take your resources away. But that doesn't mean you're done with all men. You're just done with that man. And then you continue on dating. And we're all in different seasons of dating. You don't have to push yourself if you don't want to. We have ups and downs, lulls, and, highs and lows. Super active, super inactive. That's life. We have seasons. But if you're done completely with men in general, right, overall, what that is communicating to me is you've been dealing with a bunch of losers and you're burnt out. And that makes sense. But now that you've determined I've been dealing with a bunch of losers, no wonder I'm fucking tired, you got to change your strategy up. And as soon as you become a blueprint babe, queen treatment date 1. You're not going to be tired of a man who's giving you queen treatment date 1 until he fucks up. Okay? And then you don't have to be tired. You just disappear. Because you've not gotten too far in where it's drained you. You just see it in that moment and you're like, I'm out. Because you don't have to deal with men's bullshit at the beginning. These men are going to show you who they are, and you get to pick and choose. Am I going to deal with this man and his bullshit or not? Because unfortunately, all people come with bullshit, me and you included. Okay? And we're picking and choosing the type of bullshit that we want to deal with. What about men? What about when men are not equal in their finances with their partner, or equal in their, I think you meant finances with their partner? It's not worth it, but nobody. I don't think a man has to be equal with your finances, especially like as a woman, you should ideally be dating at the same level or up. Sometimes women now, modern women, because we tend to make more money than men, we're dating down. The issue when it comes to that is it can be a little messy. It can win, it could work for you if he's providing and protecting though. Okay? So it can work if he's acting accordingly. But if he's the type of man that's going to let your money, your job title affect him, because it does affect a lot of men, then it's going to be an issue. But then you vet them out. How did he mess up? Jay, that story is in my community, the lab. So if you want that story, that tea, that was very, very good. I posted that over the weekend. So if you're ready to join my community, get all the tea, all the guidance, all the things, right? It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. or you can do the solo journey. It is a one-time purchase with the discount code today. It is $127. So I'm giving you $30 off. Why? Right now, I am updating and refining Blueprint. Blueprint 1.0 is what you're going to get today, whether you go solo or join the community. I'm currently working on 2.0, and as soon as 2.0 comes out, the price is $157. We will keep doing this until they always mess up. But by the time I got to 30, I'll be tired. Well, and the thing is that like, it depends on how they mess up, what they do, how soon they mess up, and your tolerance level, right? So my tolerance level with this guy was pretty low, and just and how he went about things. Okay, could I have easily continued on? Yeah, of course. But why? That already gave me a preview that I'm just like not interested in dealing with. And are all men, we're human. Men are going to fuck up. You're going to fuck up. It's all in how they repair the fuck up. It's all in how the fuck up happens, the accountability, the everything. Because that matters. And if that works, they take accountability, fix it, right? Then you continue on in the relationship, because no relationship is perfect. You're going to have your downs. You're going to have your disagreements. You're going to have your fights. It's all in how you navigate it. Curious, what do you think of Shira 7? I love Shira 7, right? However, Shira and I get compared to her. We're very different people. Shira is very much, I would say she's a financial coach. She teaches you to go after men's money and marry them. She teaches you to land an ugly rich man so he takes care of you. Okay? I don't teach that over here. Especially because I don't think you should be settling down just to have a man paying for shit. In addition to that, Shira is against dating apps. She talks a lot of shit about dating apps, actually. However, why do you think she talks a lot of shit about dating apps? She's never been on them before. She doesn't know how they work. So it's easier to talk shit about an app that you know nothing about instead of being an actual dating coach and figuring out how to make it work. But have you noticed that all dating coaches, because I haven't found one that is a proponent for apps that teaches you how to use them the way I do. And guess what, ladies? I'm not a dating coach. I'm a certified health and wellness coach. Okay? However, I know that dating apps work because it's a tool. There's no reason for you to be talking shit about a hammer, right? The hammer is meant to hammer. If you fucking ding your head on it, you're not using the tool appropriately. It's the same thing of like TikTok, right? TikTok has a reputation. The same way dating apps have a reputation. But just because it has a reputation, it's a tool. It's all in how you use it. So before I got on TikTok, TikTok's reputation is this is an app for kids to go dance on. That's it. Well, my eyes opened up when I had a coworker who was in her like mid to late 50s, literally on TikTok, not just scrolling, but creating TikToks. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Changed my life. Literally created this business. I'm able to share all this information because of this tool and how I chose to use it. But dating coaches, they're not on the dating apps. They refuse to learn how to actually use them. So instead of learning how to use them and being a modern dating coach, because it doesn't make sense for dating coaches and Shira as well to say, don't be on the dating apps. They're telling you not to be on the internet when they're literally on the internet communicating to you. They're doing you a disservice, a complete disservice, because there's all types of men on the dating apps like there is out in the wild. And you don't have to date and marry ugly men. I actually encourage you to date men that you're attracted to, because when you're sleeping with them, it's going to feel better when you're attracted instead of with an ugly old man just because he has money. Ick, gross. Is that a quick and easy way to secure a future? Kind of. But you're a trapped bird. I would rather be roster dating, single, not married, not committed, because guess what? What does Shira say? She's never getting married again. And if she as a woman is never getting married again, why is she being a huge proponent of getting married to an ugly rich man? Gross. You don't have to do that unless you want to, unless you're attracted to ugly men. Like some women like ugly men. I'm not going to yuck your yum. But I just don't think that is a savvy way to go about life as a woman. I just don't think it is. I found a hair tie in his car. It was a deal breaker. There you go, right? Had it on his stick shift of the car, so notice. Can't tolerate that. Yeah. And all men cheat, right? All men cheat. Whether they go all the way up to the cookie, some of them do, clearly, but most of them are cheating with stealing resources from a woman. Time, attention, validation, physical presence. So you're against being solely with a man for money only, correct? Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason to be solely with a man for money only. That's gross. It's gross. There's more to relationship than being with an ugly man for money. I'm looking for compatibility, lifestyle matches, habits, behavior, investment. That matters. Not just being with a man just because he has money. Because guess what? We're modern women. We make our own money. The same way Shira makes her own money. Same way Shira makes her own money. I need a rich SD, right? Don't we all? I've never had an SD before. I'm just dating, okay? These are just men that are attracted to me because they like me and vice versa. So if you're ready for my system, choose your adventure. It's a one-time purchase, $127 with the discount code. I'm giving you $30 off. The community is already discounted. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You get the system, but you also get to text me at any time, right? Anytime you need guidance, I'm there to support you. Okay. You drop your screenshots, whatever it is that you're looking for. I also create extra content for you on a daily basis. And we have group coaching happening tonight, in like an hour and a half. Okay. So if we have any other questions, drop them in the chat. That's why I feel it's harder today. So when the woman makes more money, some men expect women to pay. I can't. That's why. Yeah. But here's the thing. Just because you make more money, if you're choosing to date a man who expects you to pay, you're dating the wrong man. That's it. And part of my lesson today in the community is being mysterious. So these men shouldn't even know this information about you to begin with. Okay. They shouldn't even know this information to begin with. But that's why my lab, it's literally an intellectual body of work, right? It's not even just my work. I'm pulling from other content creators. So you're getting different TikToks, Instagram, YouTubes from other people to support what I'm teaching you. And today, right, Sandra, you would very, very, very much benefit from the lesson that I put in the chat or in the community today about staying mysterious. All right, so if you are ready to become a Blueprint Babe, you can tap the Service Plus button, choose your adventure, or you can exit the live, click my icon. The link is at the top of my bio. It is a one-time purchase of $127, or you can join my community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You get weekly group coaching happening tonight at 7 p.m. I'm sorry, 8 p.m. My bad. 8 p.m. today. And then you also get extra content to support you on your journey. My man went from balling to broke. Should I stay? Not at the same caliber. I wouldn't. Because why is he broke? And if he's broke, he doesn't have time for you anyways, because he needs to be focusing on his money. Because he needs to be focusing on his money. Great question, right? I mean, here's the thing. Like, these are your relationships, right? So part of the Blueprint 2.0, what I'm adding into it is a section for women who are already in relationship, okay? You get to pick and choose, right? As a man, if he's broke, his focus, his resources, time, attention, physical presence should be about getting his bag up. Why? Because he has a queen like you, literally your name. He has a queen at home that he needs to fucking be queening up. Queens don't take broke men, right? Queens require a lot more. They just do. And if you're a queen, you can deal with a broke babe, but that's why phase 3 of my system is the most important phase. You're dating multiple people. You want a broke babe? He's going to be a 20% babe. But if he's giving you 20%, I hope you're giving him the same, because if he's giving you 20% and you're making up the difference, you're giving him 80. For what? For what? And I understand emotions, love, this and that, but that doesn't pay the bills, does it? Literally, when I left my ex-husband, when I left that marriage, I literally told him, thank you so much. I love flowers. I appreciate it. When I left that marriage, I told him love is not enough. Okay? Because it's not. It's just not. And you can stay for love, but who wants struggle love? I don't. I don't. And not that my ex was broke or anything. It's just like, it just wasn't it. It just wasn't it. Okay. In fact, my ex was the opposite of broke. I married my high school sweetheart trust fund baby. Okay. He was a trust fund baby. Opposite of broke. However, still didn't add up, because long term, right? Investment is important. Being a provider and protector clearly are characteristic traits. They're characteristics that are very important, because if you're going to get queen treatment, you need to be dating a real man, a masculine man, a provider and protector. So you can sit back and receive. But if you can't sit back and receive, then he's putting you in provider and protector mode. Do you want to be in that mode? I don't. It's usually money and sex that end the relationship. Sometimes. My ex-boyfriend that I attracted with my system, it wasn't either of that, money or sex. It was more like in that relationship, when I left, I told him being with him felt like having 2 full-time jobs. He stressed me out and he didn't make life easier, even though he was a provider. In the 6 months that we were together, I attracted him with the first phase of my system. Phase 1 is the marketing, the right pictures, the right words. That's so funny. I just had a babe text me. I haven't responded to him because fuck him, right? He literally, you know how you can heart react something? Because I have a burner app, it tells me, it just told me that he removed a heart emoji from one of the comments, because he's clearly trying to get my attention without double texting. Anyways, let them be how they want to be. You respond when you want to. I just haven't been responding. This guy I've actually ghosted a while, okay? Just actually ghosted a while. Hi Rita, how are you? Hi, when we purchase the blueprint, will the update be sent via email or updated Google Drive? I'm going to, for sure, Google Drive. It's going to be updated Google Drive. I will potentially, I haven't decided, I may email you or not individually, but as a whole. But for sure, it's going to be updated on Google Drive, and you all get the update. You all get the update. You're welcome. We have a blueprint babe in the house. Rita just became a blueprint babe a few days ago. How is the blueprint working for you already? The app is called Second Line. Second Line. So you can use a Google form number as well, but that's part of the safety protocols that I put into the blueprint. And safety protocols in 2.0, they are going to have their own section, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit more. How about just be a solid woman and show that you're worth investing in? Okay, so this is why I teach you ladies to date on the apps. These men are going to tell on themselves, right? So what is it? What's a solid woman? Okay, what is a solid woman? And what is a woman worth investing? Because if you're taking her on a date, aren't you investing in her? To somebody to invest into, that's a big secret. I love it. Great information. I'm still reading it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're loving it, Rita. Okay, so here's the thing, Slippery. If you're taking a woman out on a first date, you already see her value and she's clearly worth taking out on a date. But if you're going to be a cheap-ass man and not wine and dine her, give her queen treatment, you're a fucking loser. right? And also, she may be a pick Misha, and she may just not have standards. And she's going to allow you to rob her blind. Because date one, men should be investing. Quality date, put money into it. Because if you're not even willing to put money into date one, you're wasting that woman's time. You're robbing her blind. So then you're not even a man worth giving access to. And that's how that works. Honest, she has morals, integrity, believes in something bigger than herself. She may not go past the first date. I'll spend on the date, no problem. Okay, so then we're in alignment, Slippery. We're in alignment. We potentially have the first masculine man to show up in the chat today. Wow. But this is a testament to why women need to be talking to multiple men at a time, dating multiple men at a time. Because this is literally the first man who has come into the chat and says, I'll spend on a date, no problem. The rest of these fucking losers have been what? Arguing for their limitations. But most men will come in like Slippery, questioning, right? Because this is obviously a hook. Sometimes it's a little rage bait to certain men, right? And pick Mishas, because we've noticed that today, haven't we? Haven't we? Okay, so clearly Slippery knows, right? He has to spend money on a first date. Okay? Duh. But most of these men don't. Most of these men don't. I will never let her spend on a first date. That's dumb. Okay. Again, Slippery, congratulations, because you're literally the first man to come into the chat today and be a masculine man. Okay? So to you, right, what I'm saying is probably makes no sense, right? That's my role as a man. Because you know, you are a masculine man. I'm teaching women to find men like you. Potentially men like you. I'm not going to blow you up too quickly, okay? Let's not get your head even bigger, because I've already, as a woman, given you a compliment. That's more than plenty for you today. Your ego is going to be fed forever now, okay? So most men are out on the dating market. They're not spending on date one. They're taking women for a drink, a coffee, a walk, a gym, an ice cream. That's it. My head's not big, no worries. Great. Okay. So that's the issue with a lot of men. A lot of men want access to women, time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. And they're not even wanting to take them and pay for date one. Okay. That's the issue. So because there's a lot of those type of men out in the wild, I'm teaching women to vet those losers out, because whether they don't have the money or they don't like these women enough to invest in them, they're out. They're not men. They're not men that know, like you, well, duh, that's dumb. Why would I have her pay for a date? Because it's a dating market. There's all sorts of shit out there. But let me ask you this, because I made a TikTok today. If you took a woman on a first date and she offered to pay, would you accept that or no? Would you allow her to pay her half, or would you say, no, I got it? Curious, because I made a TikTok on that today. And since you're clearly the first masculine man to jump in the chat today, I want to hear it from you. I'm confident in who I am and I know what I want. I love that. Love that. Okay. Yep. All right. So if you are ready to become a blooper babe and start vetting loser men out of your life and getting queen treatment date one, choose your adventure. It is a one-time purchase, $127 with the discount code, or you can join my community, which is already discounted. It is a 6-month commitment at $57 a month. That's less than $2 a day. You get the system, but you also get to text me at any time. You get a community of like-minded women. You get extra content that I put in daily. Today's lesson is about staying mysterious. And you get weekly group coaching happening tonight at 8 p.m. So if you become a blueprint babe like Rita, who else do we have in here? Rita, we had Amor earlier in here. I don't know if she's still in here. We had Christina earlier in here. Blueprint babes. Thank you so much. I love flowers. I really do. Look. I love when a man buys me flowers. It's my favorite thing ever. Okay? My favorite thing ever. Alrighty. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. So if she starts lying or acting shady, I'm not afraid of being alone. And that's standards as a man, right? That's standards as a man. Because Men should be vetting and have standards as well. But most men don't. Most men are easy. Most men don't have standards. Most men just do whatever. It's really weird. Okay, you're still here. Yes. Amora is a blueprint babe. She's still in here. I don't know if Rita is still in here. Okay, so who else is ready to join us? I'm gonna have to take my dog for a walk for a minute. We do have our group call at 8 p.m., so I would love to see you in the community if you decide to become a Blueprint Babe. If you're currently a Blueprint Babe out on a solo journey, you can always join the community. I'll give you your first month free. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I will send you the discount code. They're addicted to porn, that's the problem. Probably. Yeah, probably. A lot of them are. Okay. There's a lot of things going on in the dating market, but that's why I'm teaching what I'm teaching. So instead of dealing with bullshit that you don't have to be dealing with, you vet it out. My dog is scratching at the door too. Thanks for letting me speak. Good luck. God bless. Thank you so much, Slippery, for adding value into our conversation today. Okay, friends. My dog definitely needs to go for a walk now. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you do become a Blueprint Babe, make sure you at least DM me so I can welcome you. I will probably be back on for a little bit before our call happens at 8 p.m. So if you do join the community, you will be able to gain access to our group coaching call today. That is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month, or you can apply the system, go out on it, apply the system on your own solo journey. You're still going to get really great results on your own. And then, of course, you can always visit me here back in our live. All right, friends, thanks so much for hanging out. The link is always at the top of my bio. If you're not following yet, please follow. And I will see you guys a little bit later. Ciao. Oh, okay, Luca. Okay, we're going.